The latest release in the Twitter files from Elon Musk, and it could not have been on a more perfect day. A Monday afternoon. Brilliant. Because, I've been whinging about how they keep releasing this stuff on Friday and Saturday. Well, now we got possibly the biggest release, in my opinion, as it pertains to what's going on behind the scenes at Twitter. Hard evidence that the Twitter executives knew Trump did not break any rules, and you can actually see the communications between the staff and the executives as to how to falsely justify removing a sitting president from the social media app. Of course, world leaders around the world were angry that they did it. They said it was a bad precedent, even leftist ones in Europe. So seeing this, look, we knew, I say knew, quote unquote, because we knew because we're not stupid, but now we have the communications. Vijaya Gadde personally intervened after they said Trump broke no rules and said, well, is it coded incitement to violence, perhaps? And they went, oh, yeah, that's right. That's our justification for removing the president from Twitter. So we'll talk about that. Plus, Sam Bankman-Fried has been arrested. Okay, finally, I guess. And then we have that story that the mainstream media loves more than the actual groundbreaking leaks. We have Elon Musk was booed while on stage with Dave Chappelle. All right, we'll play ball. We'll talk about that. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com. Become a member to help support our work. As a member, you'll get access to exclusive members-only segments of this show. Just click that Join Us button over at timcast.com. We're going to have one for you tonight at around 11 p.m. So don't forget to smash that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel. Share the show with your friends if you really do want to support us. If everybody who watched shared this video on social media, we'd be bigger than the mainstream media overnight. So again, smash that like button. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Phil Labonte.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I am Phil Labonte. I sing for the metal band All That Remains. I am Phil That Remains on Twitter, and I run my face a lot.
Right on. Well, thanks for coming, man. This is going to be fun. That was like the most concise and to the point introduction. Normally people linger,
I didn't want to take up a whole bunch of time. There's a lot of things that we're going to talk about. We can go ahead and talk about Luke's shirts, and then we can go ahead and talk about Ian, and then we can jump right into it. I know how things go around here, guys.
He's a pro. Before that, Phil, can we have a war cry?
Just a random
Just a
screams.
random war cry?
Yes!
Yeah, thank you, Phil, for joining us. I really appreciate that. My name's Luke Radowski here of WeAreChange.org, and today I'm wearing one of my older shirts that reads, I survived 2020, and all I got was masks, riots, a lockdown, more surveillance, the Great Reset, and this shirt. And you can get this shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Because you guys do that, this is the main way to support me, and thank you so much for doing so. Ian, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. I was just watching Phil's war cry.
That was a good war cry.
Camera was
awesome.
moving while it was happening because Tim was getting focused or something.
So it's like shaking.
Yeah, it was really intense. Always great to hear your voice, Phil. Even better in person, my man.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for coming, dog. Kellen, tell me about it.
That war cry was like a cup of coffee. I'm going to be honest with you.
Good.
That woke me up. Hey, everyone, it's Kellen. I'm back again. Let's get started.
And Luke, did anything happen today that you won't shut up about?
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so.
No, something big did happen.
No.
Elon Musk followed Luke because he agreed. I don't know why, but you mentioned you responded to him about the future of humanity, and he seems to agree with you.
Someone wrote me, congrats on getting a federal agent assigned to you. And I responded like, I already had one for 15 years. I confronted David Rockefeller and Henry Kissinger. I think I already have one. So maybe now I have two. So wish me luck, guys.
Luke walks in the front door and he's looking around all excited, trying to find somebody. He's holding up his phone just with like Elon Musk follows you. And it's like, okay, Luke.
Luke, you didn't have you had one person before. Now you actually have a desk.
Yes.
At the
I probably have I hope I have a floor. That's my bucket list.
That's
goal.
big time. That's big time when you get a whole floor.
The agents are watching this show, eating popcorn, being like, they're going to say something.
I'd be I imagine that the things that come along with having a floor, paying attention to you are bad. Usually they're attached to drones. I don't think that I want a floor of the FBI paying attention.
They're going to be assessing all the memes.
Yeah.
Like, what does this mean? What is it?
Yeah, I'm all set. No, I don't want that much attention.
Those shirts are really good. All right, let's jump to this first story. We got this one from timcast.com. Twitter files. Executives acknowledged Trump did not violate terms of service. Proposed, quote, coded incitement to further violence stipulation. It was really amazing. When you read Twitter's public announcement as to why they banned Trump, they say it's all assumptive language like further incitement and additional violations will mean, and they say all of that because they never once say Trump did break the rules. But now we have the internal communications themselves. Take a look at this. Some dissenters in Twitter, albeit one, saying maybe because I'm from China, he says, I deeply understand how censorship can destroy public conversations. But let's jump right to it. You have this Annika Navaroli, who says that they assessed Donald Trump's tweet and found there is no violation of our policies at this time. Now, that's interesting because this woman later went on to testify for the January 6th committee that she was trying to warn Twitter that they had to do something about this. Take a look at this. Twitter employees on the scaled enforcement team suggest that Trump's tweet may have violated Twitter's glorification of violence policy. Oh, here we go. There's Vijaya Gadde. Less than 90 minutes after Twitter employees had determined that Trump's tweets were not in violation of the policy, Vijaya Gadde, Twitter's head of legal policy and trust, asked whether it could in fact be coded incitement to further violence. They knew, and get this, when you go through these messages, the amazing thing is you can see them lying, and basically they might as well be saying, guys, make up a reason to ban Trump and get it to me. It's got to make sense. Is basically what they're saying. On January 6th, Trump said, no violence. He tweeted out, no violence, we're the party of law and order. On January 8th, he said, 75 million American patriots who voted for me, your voices will be heard. And then he tweeted again, I will not be going to the inauguration. They twist themselves into knots to claim that because he said American patriots, he was referring to rioters on January 6th. Because he said, I will not be there, he was actually saying, you have the go-ahead to attack because I won't be there, therefore I'll be safe. And then Twitter employees said that Donald Trump is now viewed like the head of a terrorist organization, no different than Hitler or the Christchurch shooter. Therefore, he must be banned.
How insane of a concept is that? That Donald Trump, regardless of how anyone feels about Donald Trump and the things that he said, the idea that Donald Trump is as bad as Hitler, I can't take that seriously. I can't imagine how you sit with someone and say, all right, you said that, and now other things that come out of your mouth, I have to make believe that they're serious too. I can't even. Yeah. I can't. It's so ridiculous.
People are detached from what Hitler was really like. He was like a war veteran, broken brain. I think was it Serge? Maybe was telling me he lost a bunch of his friends in the trench. He went out to run a mission. When he came back, they were all dead. Yeah,
nerve gas damage, a whole bunch of drugs, a whole bunch of methamphetamine. Yeah. There's a big difference between Donald Trump and his Diet Cokes and McDonald's. Now again, I'm not the biggest fan of Donald Trump, but the man was actively calling for peace, telling people on Twitter like, hey, doing the opposite of what they accuse him of. So for them to construe American patriots as some kind of coded incitement is absolutely derangement type thinking that is nonsensical. That is, as you said, insane. These people are absolutely crazy. They lost their marbles. They lost the plot. They don't know what's going on here. And they will think of any reason just to punish any kind of political speech that they don't like because it triggers them and it activates this kind of fight or flight instincts in them that scares the crap out of them.
It's a ball drop by administration at Twitter because you get, as an administrator, I know this firsthand doing it at Minds, you get you faced with the decision, I have to do either what I want to happen or what is right. And often what you want is not what is right, so you have to do what's right, and you don't get what you want out of it.
But here's my question, because I genuinely don't understand, how is there a difference between the two? In my perspective, I don't want anything from any of these people. If I was a moderator on these platforms, you've got the Krasensteins are back on Twitter. So
thank God.
Well, I mean, I got to be honest. Their return tweet was actually really funny. Did you see it?
Well, I didn't, but I know that they're lol cows, and I want that sweet milk.
Yeah. So the Krasensteins were huge Trump reply guys.
Yes.
They got banned, and I believe they got banned for under false pretenses. And then when they came back, I mean, they did the whole thing where I think Don Jr. Blocked one of them, so he was like free speech in quotes, and I'm like, oh, these are the kind of guys there. But they posted the ambiguously gay duo from SNL, and it said the Krasenstein brothers return to Twitter to hunt the ghost of Donald Trump. I was like, that's actually really good. That's a good one.
Back before they got banned, I thought that the ambiguously gay duo was something that was associated with them regularly.
Yeah. They made a meme. They made a good meme.
It's perfect.
If the world wasn't in such dire straits of starvation and like falling apart with no electricity and disease and stuff, this would be really funny. I would be loving all this Twitter drama. It's so hilarious because I really love all these people from all sides. It's just enjoyable to watch everybody go at it if the stakes weren't so high.
Well, so here's my view, I suppose. They're on the platform. They're back. They should have never been taken off, despite the fact that I'm going to argue with them. For me, doing what right is doing right by the users, by people and their human rights is what I would want. It's strange to me, but I get it, I guess. People it's strange, as you mentioned it, Ian, that there would be someone sitting there saying, I know the right thing to do would be let this person speak, but I hate them, so I'm going to remove them. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'd have situations where I was like, I agree with these politics, but the right thing to do is put it in the politics bucket because it's politics, even though I want it to be on the front page and everyone to believe what I believe. So I'd have to choose to do what was right.
When you need to stretch interpretations and make up things that aren't there to justify you shutting down a political voice, maybe you're the bad guy. Maybe that's when you should kind of reconsider what you're doing here. But more interestingly, Donald Trump hasn't tweeted yet. He's been back on the platform for many days. And we talked about this before on the show. And I was like, hey, there's a big chance he won't actually be using the platform. Why isn't he? He has an opportunity here. And it looks like Elon Musk is taking his place when it comes to everyone, especially the corporate media, focusing and attacking him. Maybe that's one reason why. But he's still not back on the platform. He has an opportunity to reach so many people, to communicate with so many people. He's still not doing it.
But he already does, though. I mean, anytime he puts up a truth on Truth Social, they make their way to.
Is Roseanne
Twitter.
Barr on Truth Social?
What I'm saying is, anytime that Donald Trump puts a truth up, the truth makes its way over to Twitter. So it's literally advertising for truth.
Just think about the semantics. Puts a truth up.
Well, I know it's
crazy.
It's hard to articulate these things without sounding
It's
ridiculous.
not the same. He's not talking to governors. He's not talking to politicians. He's not talking to celebrities. He's not firing back against the corporate media like he used to be. There used to be interactions that were extremely entertaining to watch, where he was able to shine with a lot of his character. Some people said that it was his Achilles heel. Some people said it was his greatest strength. But it was something that, of course, galvanized the conversation. There's none of that right now.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there.
You're right that Elon might be filling the void. I'm looking at his tweets. He had a tweet that had 1.2 million likes about Go Morocco, talking about football, soccer. He had, my pronouns are prosecute/Fauci, which got 1.1 million likes.
1.1 million likes.
He seems to have taken the role of the male, strong male that young Americans or young humans around Earth are looking for inspiration right now. It used to be Donald Trump.
That's one, but the corporate media and the establishment need a boogeyman that they go after, that they galvanize all behind, that make them responsible for all the wrongs in the world. And that person right now is Elon Musk.
Yes,
they're going after him with anything and everything they can.
Let me address the you mentioning about Donald Trump fighting back and all that stuff. I want to pull up this tweet from 2012. Trump tweeted, "The Coca-Cola company is not happy with me. That's okay. I'll still keep drinking that garbage."
Right?
All right, point made.
Phil, take it back right now, Phil. Take it back.
I take it back. That's freaking awesome.
Trump was.
That was his platform.
It was
still
fire.
Keep drinking that garbage.
It was fire.
It was. All right, I take it back.
Now he just goes on Truth
I'm wrong.
Social and he's like, the rig 2020, and I'm just like,
it's like paragraph at the paragraph of him complaining about 2020, and it's like,
That's
come
all
on,
Donald
man.
Trump does anymore, though, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of Donald Trump fans off. All Donald Trump does is whine anymore. He is just, even if he was like, everyone knows that all these bad things happened and it was taken from me and blah 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 blah, whatever his line is, even if he said all that stuff and then said, but from here on out we're going to focus on the future and yada yada yada, he'd be much more, he'd attract more voters. People are so tired of listening to him complain, because even people that were sympathetic to his his takes before. People like myself and like, Luke and people that at the very least
I was
would
more
be
critical of him.
Well, but what I mean was we're sympathetic to the idea that there is a problem in Washington. Sympathetic to the idea that there is an establishment that needs someone pushing back against it. People that were sympathetic to that idea are tired of poor me. They're just over it.
Yeah.
And I think that they're right to be tired of it, because if his thing is just poor me, then he's not going to get anything done. He's not going to fix anything. He's not going to make anything better.
Absolutely.
Since Trump was reinstated, I can pull this tweet up, the actual tweet, not an image of it, where he said, "Federal judge throws out Stormy Daniels lawsuit. Great. Now I can go after Horseface and her third-rate lawyer in the great state of Texas. She will confirm the letter she signed. She knows nothing about me, a total con." He was the president.
Dude, that's a massive self-own. He paid to have sex with that woman. Why are you calling her a horse face? You paid for that.
A lot of money, too.
You dumb man.
He paid top dollar. It wasn't cheap.
Well, he likes horsey women, I guess.
If you don't why did you purchase that product? Seriously.
As much as I can be like, I've been critical of Trump's, I guess, decorum in the past. He can be better. People kept saying this is exactly why they liked him, because he'd just say what he felt like saying. He'd just say it.
He was ridiculous, and that was the funny thing about him. But that was also the thing that made people hate him the most, and that was the thing that did align the establishment against him.
I think saying what you think is a valuable ability, but if what you think is evil, horrible, dirty things, then saying what you think is going to be bad. If it's good things, then saying what you think is going to be good.
I think you're right, but I think delivery has a lot to do with it, because there are plenty of people saying plenty terrible things in a very gentle way nowadays, and it's getting right by people.
Well, let's be honest. Donald Trump was funny. He was humorous, and he made us laugh about very serious issues. Some people he would push back on when they needed to be pushed back on, but when it came to establishment powers, he laughed at them, and that has its own presence that is missing.
So I want to pull up this tweet. We were just talking about how Elon said, "My pronouns are prosecute/Fauci." And in a lot of ways, Elon's filling that void that Trump filled. I got to wonder, did Elon look at what made Twitter big, saw that it was Trump, and then said, if I'm going to fix this platform, we need a new Trump-like figure? So Twitter was actually dying. Then Donald Trump starts running for president, starts tweeting up a storm, and all of a sudden Twitter just takes off. Then when Trump is out, Twitter starts going down. Elon comes in, and now he's doing very similar things, tweeting things that rile people up, posting memes, responding to people. He has very much filled that void on Twitter of what Trump was. So we have this interaction that went viral over the weekend. Elon Musk said, "My pronouns are prosecute/Fauci." And Scott Kelly, the astronaut, says, "Elon, please don't mock and promote hate towards already marginalized and at risk of violence members of the LGBTQ plus community. They are real people with real feelings. Furthermore, Dr. Fauci is a dedicated public servant whose sole motivation was saving lives." And Elon said, "I strongly disagree. Forcing your pronouns upon others when they didn't ask and implicitly ostracizing those who don't is neither good nor kind to anyone. As for Fauci, he lied to Congress and funded gain-of-function research that killed millions of people. Not awesome, in my opinion."
Concise.
Well, holy smokes. He got the joke in there and the pushback of the narrative.
Yeah.
And so Fauci was working with EcoHealth Alliance and what's that guy's name? Peter Daszak. And they were sending money. Was it what Fauci's company? Fauci's
government.
It was like National Institute of Health.
Donald Trump approved gain-of-function work, and as soon as he did, Dr. Fauci in his office authorized it with EcoHealth Alliance and Peter Daszak, who's alleged to be working with the CIA to do it in Wuhan, China, specifically at the Level 3 laboratory of virology there, where they worked on activated, weaponized coronavirus.
That's all confirmed?
Yes.
Okay, so then when he went under Congress to testify, Anthony Fauci, he testified and said, we didn't do gain-of-function research.
He lied.
He lied.
He lied.
Yeah.
But he was redefining the word. He was trying to use semantics.
Hold on. He outright lied. Like, it wasn't even that. He just straight up lied. And then Rand Paul actually pulled up the study where he's like, it literally says here gain of function. It's one thing if the study said, we're doing research with viruses to do X, Y, and Z. It's another thing when the study literally says gain of function research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Fauci's like, no.
Yeah, Barack Obama specifically banned it, and Dr. Fauci couldn't do it, and the government couldn't do it under Barack Obama because Barack Obama said there's too many inherent risks towards making a virus as lethal as possible.
But the point I wanted to get to with this is how Elon Musk has become a more articulate Trump on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not American, so there's no fear of him running for president. So I don't think the deep state's too concerned with him.
He is an American, but he can't be the president.
Because he's not a naturalized citizen.
He's a citizen, but he wasn't born here.
He wasn't born in the United States, so he's not available to run for president. So I think that the establishment may not be nearly as concerned about Elon as they are about Donald Trump.
I don't know. He started releasing their communications.
Yeah.
And Elon did more when it comes to the battle of free speech than any Republican in the recent decade ever did anything for free speech.
What were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
Well, I'm at a crossroads kind of where I'm like, what do we do? Do we side with the liberal economic order, or do we side with the BRICS, the Chinese economic order?
Neither.
Or is there a third option? There's another option.
How about
just a decentralized world?
Yeah, you don't have to side with a superpower all the time, Ian. You don't have to side with an overlord. You don't need an overlord, Ian. You don't need a government. You don't need people telling you what to do. You could focus on yourself, and you could decentralize.
Anarchism's all right. Like I'm romantic. I'm really romantic for anarchism. Like I'm not the guy that's like I think that anarchism is the right solution for every.
But we should be striving towards it.
But it is a good goal to have.
Exactly.
Voluntary interactions in all human interactions is a good goal to have.
Exactly. And we should always strive for that.
The United States is, people say the United States is gonna, no, the United States are doing things because it's a bunch of states. It's not an entity. It's a bunch of states that have opted to work together.
The federal government is an entity that is independent and separate from the states. So to say the United States is no longer accurate because you're talking about what the United States federal government, one entity, is doing.
I see the logic. This is why Luke likes Ian, because Ian gives him a layup.
That's why I'm here, baby. I'm playing support.
Yeah.
Regeneration, healing. That's what I'm doing.
Ian's like, but which
overlord should I pick?
And then Luke does the more you know. Actually,
big question.
Choose
I've been so concerned about the liberal economic order since Zeitgeist, since 2005 and 6. And I'm like, oh, the buildings came down in a near free fall. What the hell? So they were like almost my enemy in my mind. I'm like, how do we? But now I'm seeing the Chinese. There's more than one economic order.
Well, so you want to get a little weird. Think about this. And this is something that I've been thinking about that I think Elon Musk is doing. He's looking at Twitter, Starlink, SpaceX. It's all one thing for him. As much as they are different businesses, essentially, he is laying the groundwork with those companies to make interplanetary life possible. And they all have a certain synergy together. If you can get big, heavy stuff off of the planet and get to Mars, and you can colonize Mars, and then you could put Starlink. You would want to put Starlink around that planet as well because you would want to be able to communicate. All of this stuff works together. If you're thinking, how do we make human beings interplanetary or multiplanetary? Because obviously the first start is Mars, and then from there on.
I think Twitter and Starlink are rudiment. I'll stop. People are saying that Twitter would be a really great way to communicate if you're interplanetary, because there's short burst messages. You can say a thing, and then after a few minutes it lands. Everybody sees it. It lasts forever. So it's effective for interplanetary communication. I disagree. I think quantum entanglement is how we're going to do interplanetary communication.
Or sympathetic vibration using crystalline communication. Like you vibrate one crystal in Earth's atmosphere, and then the crystal in Mars's atmosphere starts to vibrate too. It's different than entanglement, but similar.
None of those things have the technology now. Elon's taking existing technology and pushing it as far as it can go, seeing how much we have, and really it's really testing where is the line that the things that we have can perform a task, and what needs to be innovated to perform tasks that need to be done to allow for interstellar travel.
I like Elon because he's like, take what we have and start. He's at least using rockets to get us up there. It's not cost efficient. We need an elevator. We need space elevators. And this graphene material looks like it'll be the tether that we'll use.
I knew graphene was coming.
Yeah. Super strong tether material. You can send stuff up into orbit all day. You have like 60 different elevators going up and down all day at this one base station in Mexico or something.
Everyone drink. He said it. Also, I found it very very interesting to see him tweet after this, Elon Musk specifically saying, quote, "The branch Covidians are upset," specifically talking about the COVID cult of people who wanted lockdowns, who wanted restrictions, who wanted to mask everyone, who wanted a procedure to be forced onto everyone. They're still pushing for it. And those people represent a lot of big interests, especially when it comes to big pharma, especially when it comes to the corporate media and the government working for big pharma. That is essentially their marketing arm right now. So seeing him push back against this, he also had a meeting with the Stanford professor that was censored for trying to stop the lockdowns. He also is talking about starting a new science board on Twitter that's going to be able to judge information and actually call it out for being either honest or dishonest. So he's pushing back against a lot of powerful people. And when you truly do look at what he's been doing, especially with the people that he has freed, especially with the people that he has allowed to still have a voice on a platform that is relevant more than ever, this is a progression towards free speech. And I think it's the right road to be on. And if he's unraveling all of this on Twitter, just imagine what's happening at Alphabet, what's happening at TikTok, what's happening on Reddit, what's happening on Facebook, on Instagram. You can only imagine, as of course, these organizations all work in unison when it comes to stifling dissent, banning people, and censoring ideas that they don't like, which they work in tandem with.
Elon just tweeted follow and a rabbit emoji.
Yeah, follow the
Down
white
the rabbit hole.
Is it a white rabbit? Follow the white
So
rabbit.
he's been talking. Ian Miles Chong says all the way down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's got coming next.
You know what you're saying?
He's also.
I gotta say one thing in regards to this. The Twitter files have shown, in order to censor someone with more than 10,000 followers, and people who are high profile needed special teams to intervene. This means that the word groomer, the banning of James Lindsay, were direct manual intervention. This means that they have conversations about James Lindsay and why they banned him. And when they suspended my account for having said groomer about an adult man who was showing sexual images to children, they locked my account and I have 1.4 million followers. That means I'd be willing to bet it was Yoel Roth himself saying, okay, apply a ban on his channel until he deletes it.
How long until you got that one back?
Instant. It said, if you want to use Twitter, delete this tweet. And I was like, I got to be honest, guys. I don't think there's any moral victory in keeping a tweet up that just has a sentence from like 3 months ago. So I said, sure, whatever, deleted it, then posted about it. I thought posting about it was more effective.
Yeah.
But I want to see the communications about their justifications for this, because the other big story here is that Yoel Roth, who was the like top guy of their moderation, was actively posting about children consenting and other creepy things like this that people have basically pointed to, saying the dude was obsessed with gay porn. He was posting nonstop about it. He had a dummy account, a sock puppet, where he would post lewd things apparently. And his Elon Musk called him out, saying his what was it? His PhD thesis was arguing for like minors to have access to adult sex apps.
The PhD thesis thing, I read some stuff about it, and the thing that I read, I don't think that he was arguing for underage people to be encouraged to use those things the way that people are saying that he was arguing. He was saying, look, kids get into apps, kids get porn, kids get these things. So trying to say that trying to just keep them off doesn't work. Now, I don't think he's right, and I disagree with the point that he was trying to make, but I don't think that in his PhD thesis he was intending to say that we should.
But here's
what was his topic?
He did like a PhD thesis on the use of Grindr and stuff like that. I'm not going to come out and say that the dude actively said children should be hooking up with adults on these apps. The issue is that he said kids are already on these apps. Yeah. Therefore, we need to consider that there needs to be something for them to use, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's the erosion. That's how we get from, if you went back in time 14 years and said, if this bill passes or if gay marriage is legalized, they're going to be teaching kids how to have gay sex in schools, they'd laugh at you. I mean, that was a common talking point. Now, Project Veritas releases a video showing the dean in a Chicago school, was it Francis W. Parker, talking about how he was there as he brought someone in to hand around adult toys.
And that's a private school, right?
Private school. And when I talk to these leftists, they're like, well, they're just teaching sex ed, but queer sex ed. And I'm like, and there it is. They said it wouldn't happen. Of course it happened. If Yoel Roth is going to come out and say, look, they're already on these apps. He's basically saying the solution isn't to enforce the policy saying minors shouldn't be using adult hookup apps. He's saying, well, they're already there. So,
and this is the issue here. And I really want to bring this up because you add that to the fact that when he was running things at Twitter, which essentially he was calling all the shots. He was deciding who was going to be banned and not banned. There was children that came to the company and said,
yes.
My photos were uploaded when I was a child of me committing adult actions. Please take it off. Twitter said, no, it doesn't violate our policy. He kept it on the platform as it was on their servers, as they were meeting with the FBI weekly. You're supposed to report those things to the FBI immediately. They were sitting and chatting with the FBI almost once a week, if not even more. And you add this to the fact of if you want to go down the rabbit hole, we can. And Jack Posobiec actually kind of pointed at this and hinted at this too. There is a possibility that the feds caught somebody, let's just say someone like Yoel, in a precarious situation or on a website, and potentially said, hey, we have you on this particular charge. You have to act on our behests unless we expose you and make you go to jail. That's one possibility that could be happening here. I'm not saying that there's actual proof here, but with the way that the FBI has been operating within the United States, it's fair to speculate that this is a major possibility here.
Okay, there is literally nothing that I would put past the FBI. I have absolutely zero confidence in the FBI as an organization, and I think it's corrupt as it gets. That being said, I don't know that there is any kind of evidence that makes me think that they have something on Yoel that would make Yoel ignore child porn.
What about Jeffrey Epstein?
But they knew. Hold on. But he was. Ignoring it.
I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm saying I don't know that the FBI has anything on it.
So my question is then why? Why were they ignoring it?
I just think Yoel's kind of a bad person.
But there was more than just him. There's a bunch of people that they knew it was happening and they outright were like, nah.
I can't even speculate. I can't wrap my head around how you justify leaving that kind of stuff up without taking and not taking it.
Maybe it was you complained or person A complained, but they couldn't confirm that it was actually person A.
No, families and children came to them and said, hey, this is me. This is on my platform.
Evidence,
Twitter said, this is fine. This is totally cool. And when we look at the FBI, this is not something that's uncommon. This is something that is common. Children and other people were coming to them in the 90s saying, hey, there's this guy with the private island who's doing these things to us. They ignored them for over 30 years.
We know the FBI ignored the Simone Biles, I think is that her name, the Olympic athlete, Simone Biles was her name, I think.
Yep.
And there was other people that
and
the
that
FBI,
other gym trainer, specifically.
They went to the FBI and the FBI didn't do anything.
Nassler, I think was his name.
Like Larry Nassler, yeah.
Larry Nassler, there you go.
So I like I said, my faith in the FBI is almost non-existent. I have no use for it, and I'm the guy that wants to get rid of cabinet level bureaucracies. Abolish cabinet level bureaucracies. Get rid of them, a lot of them. So I wanted to get that out.
I don't think he needs dirt on Yoel to get him to cooperate. I think FBI probably reached out and he went, whoa, cool, the FBI.
Yeah, I think he was like, sick. Let's do this.
There's the messages.
Yeah.
In the Twitter files where he's like, definitely not meeting with the FBI right now about Trump.
There was no need to encourage anyone at Twitter to get them to behave in a hostile manner towards Donald Trump or anyone else that they possibly would conceive of as a deplorable.
I have one big regret from that interview I did with Joe Rogan, and it's that it did not occur to me to ask Vijaya and Jack if they had been in communication with the government at all. And that was I look back on that, so stupid, because it should have been question number one. Okay, you're banning people. Is the government in any way involved in directing you or advising you or requesting you take anybody down? Didn't even occur to me to ask that. Because we weren't, it's the context at the time. At the time, the big question was private companies and what they were doing. But now I look back like, just to get it out of the way, like just as a formality, government, are they involved in any way? Mm-hmm. And they probably would have lied.
That would have been good, though. Get him on tape lying or telling the truth on that one. I think, in regard to Yoel, before we get too far away from this dissertation that he did, this PhD thesis, I think it's called Gay Data is the name of it. I think what he was indicating is not, he's saying, like you were mentioning, Tim, earlier, that we have Grindr and kids are getting on Grindr and that's a problem. How do we solve it? I think what he was suggesting is that we have an app for minors, like a Grindr for minors or a Tinder for minors. But where that falls short is like, how in the hell can you stop adults from getting in there?
I mean, that's only marginally horrifying.
That sounded absolutely
right.
I mean, that's like, contemplate this Tinder for children.
Yeah, but also, I'm pretty sure he talks about how Grindr isn't actually a dating app; it's a hookup app. How these guys aren't meeting to find love; they're geolocating each other for hookups. That's what I was reading about it. I don't want to disparage any of these guys who may be trying to find love. I don't know.
I don't know about, I don't know. I don't know how it works, but the idea of children being on Tinder, I've got a Tinder account and it's a mess out there. It is craziness. And so no,
but right. This is the point. Recommending, but they're already using these apps because they want to meet people, right? We should make apps for them. No.
You shouldn't.
That's how they move the line. They keep moving the line. They're like, well, kids are gonna date. When a kid's in high school, he hangs out with his high school kids. He hangs out with his classmates and the kids. The chick from 7th period's got gym and he's got homeroom, whatever. They meet. They don't go on dating apps and then just start swiping right on random people in their neighborhood. It's bad enough adults do it.
Yeah. That there is no, I can't come up with a justification to give children.
That's the erosion.
App.
You can look. I'm not giving this guy Yoel the benefit of the doubt at all because the dude literally was the head of this stuff when exploitation was on Twitter and they weren't taking it down. So my assumption is he must enjoy it. So I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I look at what's going on and you get people who say something like, "Oh, a drag show isn't sexualized," and I'm like, they literally take their clothes off, do the splits, drop low, twerk in front of people. Like it is.
To say that a drag show is not sexualized, again, that's another thing where it's like, all right, well, I can't seriously engage in a conversation with you because you're not going to come from a place of honesty. Like,
but then there's no moving forward with solving these issues.
That's such a black pill take.
And if you look at
hold on, look,
because no moving forward. Like if you're actually saying no moving forward is real bad.
Have you had a conversation with a leftist about this stuff?
I see him on Twitter all the time. I know they're insane. They're insane.
There are friends of mine that we've had calm conversations. There's a friend of mine on Facebook. People need to understand this because the leftists refuse to acknowledge it. Okay, Luke and I were both at Occupy Wall Street. 3,000 people follow me. They're all leftist Occupy people. When the death threats came in, I get a message from a few people. They're on the left and they're like, look, man, I know we disagree. I disagree with the things you've said, but this is wrong. We obviously don't want this. Same regular people don't want it. These are the kind of messages I get. I then ask them, I'm like, here's the video from Project Veritas. This teacher was giving these things to kids. And the response from them is, this is acceptable and fine because it's sex ed for kids on queer issues. And I'm like, you see, that's it right there. Look, if you want to justify going to like sixth graders, 12-year-olds, and being like, here's anatomy and biology design, and you don't explain to them how to do anything. You just say like, here's like what happened with me when I was in grade school is they brought all the boys in one room, all the girls in another room. They said, here's the anatomy, here's how it works, here's sex ed, and that was it. What they're doing now is, under the guise of LGBT plus curriculum, handing children butt plugs and other adult toys and explaining spitting and lubing. Okay, that is well beyond sex ed. That is something different. They're not explaining to them how to reproduce or how the organs work.
Sex ed used to mean anatomy.
Yes,
sex ed used to be anatomy and technical understanding of the function and operation, as opposed to now it seems like these classes are more about
kink class
and the dangers
and about.
Well, yeah. I remember they told you, hey, you could get these diseases, you could get pregnant this way. There wasn't a conversation and like a step-by-step program on how to have butt sex, right? I don't remember that in high school.
But the realism is that the sex ed is happening on the internet on porn websites, whether we want it to or not. Any kid that wants to find it at age 9.
It is, which is readily available, which is free. and it's out there, which should make people question, why is it so readily available? Why is it so? Why is there so much out there? Why is it so free? I want to take it. I want to take it down a bigger level.
I want to say one thing to that. Even if you're right, that doesn't mean that the state is in a position to say, well, your kids probably have cell phones, or their friends have cell phones that can access pornography on the internet. So because of that, we're just going to go ahead and step on in here and insert ourselves into this aspect of your child's life. They don't have any right to do that just because there's pornography on the internet. And to make that leap, like that's not a logical leap that says, oh, because there's porn, then the state must do this thing. That is not an argument for it, in my opinion, at all. There's no reason.
Parents need to make sure their kids aren't going on these websites, don't have phones.
But this is a problem with more fatherless homes, with more parents not being able to be there for their children. It's left for a lot of these devices to raise them. And if you look at the devices that a lot of the children surround themselves with, whether it's Instagram or TikTok, what's on those platforms? What is suggested to you? What is on the explore options for a lot of these apps and applications? What is it? It's people shaking their asses. It's big fat booty hose.
The thumbnails on Instagram, it's like always some kind of suggestive thing. I think it was Alex Stein. I'm not sure. I think it was him. He pulled up Instagram, and there was a video of like a woman on her knees sticking her tongue out. And it was like, then when you play the video, it was her like kneeling down and tying his shoe or something.
Yeah, so to take it to another level, right? So we know the FBI plays a key critical role on big tech social media platforms, deciding who stays, deciding what gets played, what gets talked about, what gets, trending in the algorithm. I would even go as far as to say their involvement revolves around all those issues, especially when it came to the banning of people with all these companies working in unison. So I think that it even goes even further with them dictating a lot of this content and providing a lot of this over-sexualization of children, which is essentially destroying people's childhoods and robbing them of their innocence, but also creating a situation where they're less likely to have families in the future, essentially destroying a strong family unit, essentially making individuals that are more easily to be conquered and more easily to be enslaved with this larger social engineering, which is happening on all of these apps.
I heard as a pushback to the people that are complaining about drag shows, a lot of people are, and then you might say the left, people on the left, the counter is like, well, what about beauty pageants? What about 7-year-olds with makeup?
Bad too.
I think so
horrible,
too.
Yeah.
That red makeup and lipstick is supposed to simulate a woman is ready to give have
Jordan Peterson talked about this extensively, and he made a lot of good references and points, especially when it came to a lot of the makeup that is suggestive of procreation. Let's just be honest here. Yeah. Let's just be real with each other. So putting that on small children, putting them in heels is something that again should be pushed back on. Even if it's those beauty pageants, absolutely push back on them immediately, because they're just strange. I never understood why they're doing this, and it's just as bad.
We've moved on so fast from this is not happening to this is happening, so what? It's okay.
That's the meme.
Yeah.
That's the meme. It's not happening. Okay, it's not happening, but if it was, then it would be fine. Now it's happening. It's a good thing. So on and so forth.
Is it because the kids that were 15, 5-6 years ago were watching porn, they think, okay, I guess it's normal to see this stuff. Now they're 22 or whatever the ages are, and they're making decisions, and they're like, yo, I was exposed to it when I'm 13, I'm fine. So maybe, but are you?
They're wrong about being fine.
They're fine.
You're not fine. You're a pigsty. I'm sure of it.
We got issues, all of us.
We got breaking news. This from the Post Millennial. Twitter has disbanded its infamous Trust and Safety Council.
Huzzah!
As Twitter moves into a new phase, we are reevaluating how best to bring external insights into our product and policy development work. As a part of this process, we have decided that the Trust and Safety Council is not the best structure to do this. Ooh, there you go.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't very trustworthy, and it didn't keep a lot of people safe.
Yeah, double speak all the way.
It didn't do any of that. It just banned political speech. That's exactly what it did. Also, it's very curious to see a lot of these members of the Trust and Safety Council kind of publicly resign after Elon Musk specifically said that he's going to be going after child exploitation and adult content on their website. A little curious about how that happened.
Do you think that they were asked to keep it on as like honeypot stuff? That crosses my mind.
There is some speculation, but it's all speculation.
But the Daily Wire also reported that there was allegedly 10 million views of child adult content material that was watched on the old Twitter. 10 million views. That's a lot of views.
But this is confusing.
This
too,
is
'cause
what the Daily Wire is
There's a
reporting.
big difference between a 9-year-old that's, some horrible thing is happening and a 17-year-old. There's a big difference. In some states, 16 is the age of consent.
Yeah, but because of the fact that you can't make a law that is arbitrary, you have to have a dividing, you have to have some point where it says, okay, this is where we make the decision. You can't have laws that are arbitrary like that. So you have to say someplace, and 18 is as good a place as any. And I think that the argument should only be going for older, just because of the way that the brain develops.
Yeah.
I think that I would people that say, oh, we should make sure that the age to drink and buy a gun and to vote and all that stuff is the same. I don't see why they think it should be made younger. That just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Well, they've been trying to get everything. They want the voting age to be 16.
Yeah.
Democrats, because low information voters is how they win. Then you get 16-year-olds, you get universal mail-in ballots, and then there you go. Simple as that. Well, they eliminated the Trust and Safety Council. They say, our work is to make Twitter a safe, informative place. We'll be moving faster and more aggressively than ever before. And we will continue, we will be moving faster. And we will continue to welcome your ideas going forward about how to achieve this goal. We will also continue to explore opportunities to provide focused and timely input into our work, whether through bilateral or small group meetings.
I don't think that there's a whole lot of argument about the fact that Twitter is far more responsive now to most people's inquiries than they ever were before Elon Musk.
Yeah,
it's
he's
not
on the platform.
It's not like you could tweet at Jack and expect Jack to do anything, or you could tweet at Parag and expect Parag to do anything. They would just ignore you.
He's responding and even explaining a lot of his unpopular actions, like not allowing Alex Jones on the platform. He at least gave an explanation. We didn't like it. It wasn't a good explanation, but would we get that ever with Google?
No.
With YouTube?
Yeah,
Right.
I love when the CEO's involved. But at the same time, I'm concerned about centralized systems, because we were saying earlier, it's cool that Tesla and SpaceX and Twitter are coming together to form this uber mind of communications and travel. But if the FBI hacks into it, if some foreign government hacks into it, if someone buys the companies away from Elon and then wants to just own humanity. So we got to decentralize these systems, these software codes, get it out of any individual's hands as fast as possible, because I do not like one guy making the decision of who has to stay and who has to go.
I got to push back on that, because Elon Musk, as the one guy that owns Tesla and Starlink and Twitter and stuff, that's fine, because the option is government, which is run by bureaucracies and is not responsive. And all the problems that we had with Twitter, you get from government, because there's nameless, faceless bureaucrats that are that literally comprise the entrenched bureaucracy or the deep state. You either get, so Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, has been talking about this idea, which is, I forget the way that he articulates it, but it's essentially where one guy is in the right place at the right time and is the right person to do something, and it's kind of like a convergence of the conditions and the person. And without the person, it doesn't happen. And Elon Musk is kind of the person that has found himself in the position to do the things that he's doing. It's not just that, it's not like, if it wasn't for the fact that it's Elon Musk doing it, it wouldn't happen. It's not like it's replaceable. It's not like anyone could be there doing it. So the idea of breaking it up and having other people handle it, if you break it up and have other people handling it, there's no guarantee that it gets done, because there's not one person with the vision and the drive to push to make this thing happen. And sometimes it comes down to one individual pushing with the drive and everyone coalescing around him, or people coalescing around that idea. But it's that one person pushing that really kind of becomes the catalyst.
And we could argue that Twitter is just acting as an arm of the government, with the FBI getting involved and manipulating the public perception on things, with cyber command operations, psyops, etc. It's just essentially a function of government.
I mean, I'm sympathetic to the intent behind what you're saying, which is you want to make sure that an individual doesn't become corrupt and derail progress towards a certain goal. But I think that having the option between the right person pushing for an idea or for a result versus a bureaucracy trying to come up with a result, I feel like the right person is the better option. Now, not to say that every individual is the right person. Just because you have a person in a position that's, has authority doesn't mean that that person's going to get it done, because charisma and the ability to work with people and so many other things go into it. That's why it has to be the right person. But I think that the right person is better than a bureaucracy.
The two people I think of in this example would be Julius Caesar and George Washington. Both of them ultimate military power behind one man. Washington, it was a group of thinkers that said, hey, George, you're going to take this for now.
Yeah.
George was able to let it go.
Yeah.
And we need people like that, because Caesar was not.
I think that's I think you're right. I think that is a very wise take, because it does matter the person. And you're right, because Washington is the guy that said, I want to give this power back. And I think you're right. So.
Yeah, it could have either been stolen from him. He held on to it. Someone could have assassinated him, then become the next king, or any number of god awful things could happen if he tried to hold on to the power. I understand what you're saying, that one guy can move quickly. You can get a lot done. Authoritarian regimes, including corporations, move quickly because there's one guy making the decision, or girl. But the danger of that for the social public square, I don't like.
I don't see the danger with Elon, though, because someone tweeted at him and said, hey, I hope SpaceX and Tesla are running well with how much time you spend on Twitter. He's like, actually, the teams that are in place are really good at what they do. So he's already kind of passing the torch down. He kind of just oversees and puts his name on the companies.
Yeah, plus he's got to post spicy memes, way more important than rockets. Right?
I mean,
go Morocco.
Someone's got to milk the lol cows.
The meme of the digging up Twitter secrets in the grave, you saw that he posted that?
No, that was pretty good.
Look, every segment we've had so far has been about Elon. He's just the main character at this point, I guess, isn't he?
Unfortunately, he's the guy that's, especially considering it's the holidays, he's the guy that's driving the national conversation. And thankfully, things have kind of chilled out in the Ukrainian war. And I say thankfully because that means fewer people are dying every day when there's less fighting. And that, to me, is good. And so I guess that Elon Musk is the thing to talk about now.
It didn't chill out. It just kind of temporarily stopped because of the winter.
Yeah,
which stopped some of the fighting, but they're still using drone-on-drone warfare, which is absolutely crazy.
I just got to give a shout out to the latest episode of Rick and Morty. I don't know if you guys watch it, but there's the president's in it, and he makes a joke where something happens, and he goes, well, we'll just blame it on the Saudis. They do this kind of thing. They've done this kind of thing. They did do this thing. Like, it was just so well done. I was like, that's exactly
what happens.
They did do
this thing.
I wouldn't mind seeing a meme of Elon in a graveyard, cross-legged, meditating, and all the spirits of the ghosts are coming out of the graves of all this Twitter.
You heard him, internet.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's fair to say he is the new mass formation psychosis target. He's the one that the corporate media is centralizing their attacks against. They're attacking him more than they are actually covering the corruption that was at Twitter, that was at the FBI, which is very telling. They're trying to make Yoel some kind of victim here. They're trying to make Dr. Fauci some kind of victim here. These are not actual victims here. Yoel Roth literally tweeted about how high school teachers calling for them to have meaningful consent with their teachers. Like, come on, Dr. Fauci.
Teachers with their students.
He asked if they could.
Yes,
I don't think they said they should.
But how do you even ask if they could? The answer is just no.
Yes.
So instead of asking, you just say they can't.
Why would you be even asking that specific question?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But you see, hold on. You see the game he's playing? A regular person doesn't ask. They just say, a child can't consent to be with their teacher.
Yeah.
He goes, but can they? No.
Literally, the only reason that I say that is so that way, like tomorrow or in a couple days, when someone's like, oh, blah blah blah, like I can say no. Like I said the actual thing,
right.
And then I can be like,
but
why the hell does he say it?
That's an example of doing what's right versus doing what you want.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just got to acknowledge the objectivity of these psychopaths.
Yeah. Or acknowledge the fact that he might be playing word games or whatever. And it might be just the way that he's articulating stuff.
Let's talk about this next story here. The headline from CNBC is, Elon Musk is the most famous guy in the world. He's dominated every story. He's the main character. It's all we can talk about. No one can talk about anything else. Anyway, the actual headline is, Elon Musk booed by crowd after Dave Chappelle brings him on stage at comedy gig. Okay, he was booed. He said it wasn't that many people. I don't think it was, some people are saying he was mercilessly booed off stage. I think the bigger story is, Elon Musk figured out how to make himself famous, and that's for damn sure. He figured out how to make himself the richest guy on the planet, and then he was like, now I'll just be the most famous guy on the planet. And that's what's happening. Dave Chappelle, what did Dave Chappelle even bring him out for? Chappelle apparently joked, you can't boo him because he bought me a jetpack for Christmas or something like that. Is that how Elon got on stage with Dave Chappelle?
Maybe
he led him on as the richest man on earth, and everyone booed. I think maybe because of that, because they're envy and anger. But also, I don't think he's the richest man on earth. I think maybe on the books.
Yeah, he is.
Well, on the books.
Oh,
but
yeah, Putin.
I'm talking like Putin. You got Saudi princes that are worth trillion. I mean, what's the Rothschild
and the Clinton
family
Global
worth right
Initiative?
now? Yeah,
Bill Gates is the Rothschild.
An article that said Evelyn Rothschild was worth $240 trillion in 2011. I read that article.
Yeah,
like,
the real richest people will never be known to the general public because they keep their wealth secret. They don't want to be on the Forbes list. They don't want to be known to everyone, and they have a lot of assets and resources, and they have more convincing ways of hiding their money and their assets in other ways that people can't track down to actually see where they link from. There's a reason journalists that broke the Panama story were essentially assassinated and exterminated. So, and that was just one small banking institution. Imagine all the international global institutions where the big powerful people hide all of their money.
The King of England, I'm sure,
Panama?
is so
good.
The Panama Papers, are you familiar with them?
I'm familiar with them. I kind of thought that they came out and like nothing, like people were like, oh yeah, they, kind of like what Chappelle said, all the stuff that you think they're doing in that house, they're doing. And everyone's just like, oh, well, I guess that they just do it. And then everyone just went back to doing whatever they normally did.
Radio silence
Yeah,
on
nothing.
the Panama Papers. After 2 weeks, it went back underground. You said people got killed that exposed it?
Yeah, the journalists.
How many people are you familiar?
I knew nothing about that.
Yeah, that's pretty telling.
So, I mean, global oligarchy running bank accounts out of Panama, basically tax-free, I think is the idea.
Well, the real people with money hide their money, right? So, and they never brag about it. They never highlight it. They never show it to everyone. They never try to show off. They never try to be in the headlines. And there's a lot of those families out there that we have no idea about, which I think is important. It's important to note here. But Dave Chappelle also made a very interesting comment, trying to joke about the situation, saying that it was only people in the poor section that were booing him. And then Elon Musk kind of responded, saying that he's rich, and then said that famous slogan by Dave Chappelle, which he did on his show, saying, female dog, which kind of came off a little weird.
Family friendly.
Yeah.
Well, no, apparently someone asked Chris Rock to say it, and then someone told Musk to say it or something. Yeah. The funny thing about this is there's a conspiracy theory now on the left where they're like, Elon is deleting the video because it shows him being booed. And it's like,
it's everywhere.
Twitter is deleting the video because it's a DMCA violation. You can't film comedy specials at events. It's like being in a movie theater and filming. You can't do it. That's why they're deleting it.
You never hear, or unless there's something going on like that little thing, like you don't see comedy events. You'll see like clips of concerts and stuff like that, and bands playing songs, but it's not like you see the jokes from it's always the Netflix specials at the end when they've already come up with they've gone out and toured and selected the best jokes and put them together so that way they can shoot the comedy special. The clips you see are the comedy special of their best jokes and stuff.
Yeah, with some comedy specials you have to leave your phone at the door.
Most
you don't even let them. Yeah. They don't even allow you to come in there with your phone. So.
Yeah, and put it in a bag. They put it in a bag. That's like, I get it, man, but it's stupid because bring two phones. Like if you want to do it, you can, and all that really happens that is people can't access their phone to call 911 in an emergency.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I think it's kind of dumb.
Do you try and limit the crowd at All That Remains concerts?
Never. No. We've always been we've always been one of the bands that's like, we want people to experience the show the way that they want to. There's a lot of artists that are like, put your phone down and be present and da-da-da. It is not in any way going to affect my show if you hold your phone up. Because if you watch people that are filming, they are almost never filming or never watching what they're filming. They're holding it up and they're looking at least me. If I go in front of them and they're holding up their phone, they're not looking at their phone. They look at me because I'll put my hand out or something, and so it becomes an interaction.
And you know why people film most of these shows? At least my opinion of it is, it's not to share. It's so that they can remember it.
Yeah.
And so that they can pull up their phone and be like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember being there. But a lot of people have this idea that people go to shows to hold their phones, and there's like a joke where it's, what are you going to do? No one can see it. You're going to share that video and no one's going to even, no, it's for the people. It's for the people who
Yeah.
were there to never forget it. They're taking a piece of the show with them.
Or fireworks.
It'd be interesting if we could record each other at the shows, and then you'd get my video of you, I'd get your video of me.
I've got oodles of recordings of people at shows. I mean, we had people filming our entire. The last tour we did was this spring. We went out for the Fall of Ideals anniversary tour, and we were out for 2 months, and we had a film crew with us the entire time, and we were filming and taking video and stuff. So there's plenty of video of people filming our guys filming them.
Do you ever take camera out on stage and film the audience and all that? Live Instagram, all that?
360 cameras on the stick and stuff. So yeah, we've done a bunch of that stuff. It's super cool. A bunch of that's on our TikTok. It's TikTok.com/all-that-remains or whatever.
I thought this Elon thing was kind of blown out. The booing kind of thing was blown out of proportion. It didn't feel like the crowd was booing. It was a lot of mixed emotions. Did you guys see the video?
Elon said it was like 10% booing.
Yeah.
And then the left started saying like, haha, he's lying. And it's like, or I don't know, why would he lie? And they're like, he was booed off stage. He's like, no, I actually just stood there for a little while. Like, what did you think he was coming on stage to do anyway?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's going to get up there and transform into a Tesla or something.
Or even make jokes. He was just, that's why I'm like, it's kind of weird that he called him on stage in the first place, but he did.
Yeah.
What do you expect from Elon? But they wanted this narrative. And this is why I was complaining about
Crap out a battery.
Twitter file released on Saturday evening. So we're at Korean barbecue having dinner, and I'm like, it's not about the fact that it's the weekend. It's about dinner time. When Elon did the Twitter Spaces on a Saturday, I was at Whole Foods doing my grocery shopping, and I'm listening the whole time, and I'm tweeting. I'm like, this is big news. But they put out a story, the Twitter files, that was like medium tier news on a Saturday during dinner time, and it's like, okay, now you've just killed that story. It wasn't the strongest Twitter file to begin with. They put out at a time to ensure nobody would ever see it and remember what it was. And then the next day, Elon goes on stage with Dave Chappelle. If you wanted to make sure a story dies, that was a masterclass. And now,
Interesting.
What were Saturday's Twitter files again?
Uneventful.
I have no idea. I didn't look at them until later.
So they could have waited for that news cycle for today. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't have had as big of a news story, I guess, because the next one they released was bigger.
Well, my next question is, did you catch the Twitter files on Saturday? How were they?
I vaguely remember them because we were sitting down. It was at 7 something. It was like 6:30. We're sitting down to have dinner on a weekend. And then, I'm checking my phone all the time and I'm reading through it and we're waiting for food and I'm reading through these things. And then, look, try and remember what you can when you are eating dinner. That's the thing. It's not just about being on the weekend. Like like I mentioned, when Elon did the Twitter Spaces on the weekend, it was a huge story what he was talking about. So, we were all there for it. Huge Twitter Spaces, 100,000 people. But when they put out a smaller story on a Saturday at dinner time, it's just like you've just executed the story.
Yeah.
It was a nice dinner we had, though.
So good.
Did you stay off your phone?
Garlic pork belly?
No, I was kind of reading halfway too, but it was kind of difficult because you're there at the table and you got really good food and you're just trying to relax. And sometimes you just can't be glued to the phone all the time, and usually that's the weekend is when people usually put down the phone, and when people, especially in the Jewish faith, kind of sit down with their family members and hang out with them and spend time with family and friends.
Shabbat.
The big issue for me is I would love nothing more than to work on weekends, and I used to. But anybody who works in PR, marketing, media, otherwise knows it's everyone else who will not listen to a word you have to say on Saturday. It's Saturday, so I say, okay, fine. I'm going to go get dinner. I put out a video on a Saturday. The views are the lowest of any day of the week. That's marketing 101. PRs, if you want the big press release, it's Tuesday at 11, Tuesday at noon or something like that. So it was Monday, I think at 1 p.m. That's a really, really great time to drop a story. I mean, we got it.
I enjoy the break. I enjoy being able to clear my mind, not think about anything political. I might share a meme or two, but other than that, I'm like, I don't want to get into this kind of larger political, social psychology of what's really going on. I just kind of want to get away from it all, disassociate and take a breather.
Yeah, you got to let your
That's just
body
me.
and mind rest. It's similar with singing. I was giving it my all a couple days ago. I was telling you, and then you just got to let the next day just got to do nothing.
Just like meditation, because this is my life. As soon as I wake up, all the way till I go to sleep, like 6 days a week. So Saturday is my only day off. So I try to enjoy it as much as I can.
You're talking about singing. Singing, there's a physical aspect with singing too. There's a certain amount of recovery that your vocal cords need. So it's not just a matter of mental or psychological tiredness from that kind of stuff. It really matters, how much effort you're putting in, or how much work you're putting on your vocal cords.
Do you eat oil?
And I think your brain also works in the same way, where you gotta relax, you gotta meditate, you gotta take some time off.
That's what
because if your brain is always running, but also during the day, having some meaningful time to be able to sit down and be in quiet, I think is one of the most underrated, super powerful actions that many human beings should be taking, but sadly aren't. And there isn't even a moment in time where a lot of people have quiet. They always have something playing in the background. They always have some kind of TV on or some kind of YouTube video on. And I think that is also distracting people from the larger power of what is now.
Also, I think your gut needs a rest from time to time, because
that's why fasting has been found to be so beneficial and good for people.
Just like the muscles have neurons and they need to rest, the brain has neurons, the stomach has neurons, the heart has neurons. The heart needs a rest from time to time, probably stress.
Just turn your heart off.
Yeah, just relax. But I think if cutting out food for a little while.
I don't want to give my heart any rest. I'm going to push back on that idea. I don't want my heart to stop.
Well, it needs not stop, but it needs to be rested.
Go slow a little bit.
Yeah, right. Just chill out.
I think that's dietary.
Let's jump to this big news, ladies and gentlemen. Sam Bankman-Fried arrested in the Bahamas.
I am astounded that it took this long.
Apparently Democrats were like, well, we're not going to go after him. It's like, okay, we get it. He gave you money.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Martin Shkreli said that it could take them up to 5 years to prosecute. Oh. So he was like, a couple days ago, I think on his YouTube channel, was saying it's not that big of a deal. They took 4 years and 9 months to go after him, is what he was saying. But then the next thing I saw is he's arrested.
How long did it take him to go after Bernie Madoff?
Good question.
Right away. So
as soon as they found out, but he was doing that. How long was he doing
exactly?
This scam
But we found out about this scam a while. They had a chance to lawyer up. They had a chance to destroy evidence. They had a chance to cover up their tracks. They had a chance. They lawyered up with Ghislaine Maxwell's lawyers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they have some of the most powerful attorneys in the world right now working with them, as they had an advantage to be able to do a lot of crazy stuff that they could have hidden so much. They could have covered up so much. They could have got the lava bit. They could have got so many different actions that could have derailed the larger possible justice here. And I truly do believe that it's only because of the pressure, only because of the coverage of independent journalists, specifically on Twitter, that made them do something. And if it wasn't for this particular pressure from Twitter, from independent media, I wouldn't see them doing anything.
It was broken by a Twitter user, wasn't it? Just I think it was Crypto Bitboy or something was the guy's name.
Yeah.
There was a Twitter user that just followed some leads or whatever and started exposing it and started really putting out the information on Sam Bankman-Fried and
it was like
exposed it.
Autism Capital also did a bunch of good work on it. And it was these independent Twitter users, and Elon started picking the independent Twitter users up.
That's the internet, man. Come on.
I love it.
Hey, they're a serious group. Phil, don't
Dude,
take
Autism Capital exposed that, like, right when the crash was happening, there was a hack at FTX, and $300 million in crypto disappeared off their network.
Good.
I want to know where that money went. Find that money and bring it back. I think that Sam should have to. I don't want to see him get his life annihilated. I want to see him pay those people back.
Yeah, but how?
Crowdfund the money. What people, obviously, Sam. Like, if he knows enough people that he's paying hundreds of millions to, like, Democratic donors, time for the democracy to get back to Sam. Pay him back.
The thing is, like, I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about the actual scheme that he had going on to speak on it, so I can't really say. But I just can't imagine him. I know that he was lying about having the money, so I can't imagine him being able to produce the money that he stole. I just don't see how anyone would. I mean, who's going to fund him?
Yeah. I don't know. I suggested, what if we use tax money? And it was like, you statist, you communist. No.
Well, I mean,
I was like, okay, what if we do a crowdfunding campaign to help these people out? Because there's people that lost like their last $70,000. It was all on FTX, and now it's at zero.
Yeah, I lost $100. I was mad.
Like, some people lost everything.
What happened? Like, you just logged in your account? It was nothing.
Yeah, I tried to take my $100 out.
And it's so similar to the Great Depression. What happened when all these margin calls got pulled back? All these people were investing on margin loans, and then when the crash happens, you lose. They call your margin. They take your money to pay off the undervalued asset or whatever. And these people, it's a different situation, because it looks like he was advertently frauding his investors. He was telling them, your money's going to be safe in this account at FTX. But what's happening is they were funneling it to Alameda Research and then using that to invest.
Wait until people find out about the American banking system.
The American banking system is backed by nuclear weapons. No one's
Yeah.
going to do anything with, and no one's going to do anything about the American banking system.
Man, I really do want to see Sam pay these people back. I think the righteous thing.
I think the best you can
I
hope for is
hear
him
you,
going to
man.
jail.
They only pay like a few cents an hour in jail, though.
he's got to raise the money. He's got to know people.
Well, no,
He's
hold
so
on. You know, a
connected.
few billion hours. Well, a few 100 billion hours, and maybe he can pay some,
or at least pay
people
back to small investors, the people that were in for like $9,000 and that was all they had. And now they're working paycheck to paycheck again, making like a $30 a week, extra than what they can afford or something like that. Like people, it's cold. It's cold outside. It's got to do something. We can do something. What?
I don't know what there is to be done. I think the best thing that I don't know that there is anything that can be done to the people that lost money to make. I don't think there's anything that can be done to make them whole.
Yeah,
I don't see him.
I'm sure when you signed up you signed an agreement saying that you recognize risk and blah blah blah.
But they were blatantly told, we are not touching your money. FTX will not touch this money. It's going into an account. It's going to be safe. We're going to hold it and then give it back to you. And they were taking it into these other sludge funds that they had where like all the money was mixed together. And
the thing is, that's why Sam Bankman-Fried needs to suffer, not physically suffer, but suffer. There needs to be repercussions that disincentivize people from doing what he did. Now the honeypot's big because you're talking about billions of dollars. So the payoff is really, 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 really worth the risk to a lot of people. But if you make the penalty, bad enough, hopefully it would deter people.
I don't think it will, man.
I think there's always going to be people that are going to break the law.
Right. We've got Chicago. You got gun laws. You got murder laws. You got death penalty, and people are just.
Oh, is Illinois death penalty?
I'm pretty sure Illinois is death penalty, right? Electric chair.
I don't know.
Maybe
You're
Maybe
right.
not because it is a blue state.
Yeah, and
Let
to
me
be
double
honest
check.
with you, even if it is death penalty, most of your street crime like that doesn't get death penalty because usually it has to be something like premeditated murder, something.
Oh yeah, no. Since 2011, no more death penalty.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. So I've looked at that stuff and I don't think criminal charges deter people from committing crimes.
they're supposed to.
They're supposed to, but they I think the issue with all the crime we've seen and the collapse that we're seeing in this country is based on a lack of community. That people don't respect each other, they don't fear each other, they don't care. Used to be that the reason you wouldn't rob your neighbor's house was because you were scared about what your neighbors would say when they found out you were the robber. You wouldn't be able to go to the grocery store, then you wouldn't be able to buy bread or meat. Now it's just you go to a city and they're like, don't know you, don't care.
Yeah,
They'll take from you.
Sam's lack of compassion for the people that used FTX is stark. He's done a lot of interviews which people have said this is a terrible move for someone right after they commit a multi-billion-dollar fraud like he did, or at least I don't know if is it okay to say he committed fraud?
Oh yes.
Even if it just looks like it. He admitted it to CoffeeZilla and a Twitter.
He said what he did was wrong. He said that what he did qualifies as fraud. So what he admitted to meets the definition of fraud, so it's okay to call it fraud.
Is he a patsy? Is there somebody else that stole his money? Because he doesn't seem like the smartest guy,
He's playing the
went to
idiot
MIT.
now, but he was known as like the next
he went to
Warren
MIT.
Buffett. They were saying.
Yeah, but
Well,
MIT
That's who was saying that? The
someone-
media
Jim
organizations that he was
Cramer.
funneling money into.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, some of the most discredited names in corporate media. He was financing a lot of the media organizations. Just like Bill Gates, he was giving them a lot of money. That money buys you a lot of influence, and then the corporate media kisses your ass.
Let's be real
it was
though. I mean,
fortune.
it seems like if you do the opposite of what Jim Cramer says, you'll be rich.
There. I believe there are bots that counter trade Jim Cramer.
The
and
inverse
they do all
Cramer.
right.
You know what? I'm going at this as I hope that people get their money back, but you're right, Phil. There needs to be strict, harsh penalties for what he did because he defrauded billions of dollars out of, I don't know how many tens of thousands of humans lost their life savings
Maybe-
on this. How many thousands?
Maybe we got to bring back some unusual punishment, like tarring and feathering, something like that.
I mean, you could make an argument to allow the people that he actually defrauded to take it into their own hands, but I mean, that's not a good argument, or it's not a good solution. But it's a solution that might deter people if everyone you defraud gets to beat the absolute crap out of you.
We're in the age of like impact investment right now where people think the ends justify the means. If we're giving to things we believe in, then if other people get screwed along the way, it's worth it. I think that's Sam's sick mentality. I mean, what many drugs was he using different?
Do you think that I don't know if he's made any remarks about this other than the fact that I've read headlines that talked about his philanthropy. I don't remember who wrote the headline, but I recall a headline that was something like, "This is going to mess up his ability to do the projects that he was looking to help people." It was one of the more sycophantic headlines I've ever seen about a person that was accused of such a dramatic financial crime. But
They call it
I think it was something like, now his dream projects won't be visualized.
Something
And I'm
like
like,
it was
well,
something like that,
I
yeah.
mean, it's not philanthropy. They use this cover word in order to just buy people off. And I mean, especially when it comes to the whole nonprofit sector, there's a lot of criminals in that whole sector that are just acting like they're giving away their money when in reality, they're just making money for themselves. You look at Bill Gates. He was like, I'm going to give away all my money. He doubled his money since saying that a couple of years ago. That's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. And I think, thinking deeper here, I think there's a big possibility that this SBF guy was a patsy. He was the last man holding the bag, and that there was a bigger operation at hand here that was moving around the billions of dollars in secret shadow funds that are still unaccounted for.
They call it, global corporations are calling it impact investment, where you invest in things that you want to see happen regardless of the return on your investment. It's just about giving money to things you believe in. In the tech sector, they're calling it effective altruism. They're mutilating the word altruism and saying, if there's a net benefit, if we have to hurt 99 people but we help 100, it's worth it. It's effectively altruistic.
Yeah, to me,
Well, that's utilitarianism.
Yeah, it is absolutely utilitarianism, and a lot of people got hurt in this risk, this unnecessary risk.
Like Thanos, like Thanos from Marvel. He wants to save the universe by killing half of them. Right there, you go.
Yeah,
there, I
just
said
like Bill Gates.
So you're about to follow up on
there's
something.
people that are making an argument now.
You know what? You should make well, I don't know if the meme translates. If like some kind of bargain bin Thanos is Bill Gates. What expectation versus reality? Thanos snapping, and then in reality it's Bill Gates going, "There are too many people." And that's what you get. Let's talk about this story here.
The snap, and then there's just like weird mosquitoes that are flying around.
He snaps and mosquitoes go fly out. Here we go from the Daily Mail. Biden's non-binary nuclear waste worker Sam Brinton leaves the Department of Energy after being accused of stealing suitcases from 2 airports. Let me stop you there, Daily Mail. He wasn't accused. He was criminally charged, and he's on camera doing it. You even posted the videos. Oh, no, they didn't post the videos here. Maybe if we refresh it, we'll get something. Well, no, there's just him wearing a dress. There we go. They posted the actual photo of him stealing some woman's luggage. So I guess what they're saying now, and then here's him. Look at this. Here's him wearing the shirt in an airport, stealing the bag. And then here's him posting a selfie confirming it was in fact him wearing that shirt.
Sam, that's not yours. Put it back.
Yeah,
So what they're saying now is, they're saying he's not non-binary. He gets off on stealing women's clothes and then wearing them in public and making people watch him do it. So it's like a klepto fetish thing.
That's so weird.
when this guy joined the department.
Well, he's on camera doing it more than once, stealing women's clothing.
I want you to be right, because that's.
I'm not saying I know for sure. I'm saying this is what people are saying now about what's happening.
That's a better story than non-binary.
The speculation is that
non-binary is boring now. There's plenty of non-binary people out there.
The speculation is that he steals women's clothing and gets off on having people watch him wear it. So it's not about gender identity. It's about him stealing from them, and then
So it's like autogynephilia, where he's just walking around kind of
autogyneplepto. Wait,
yeah, that's a klepto-autogynephilia. Where he's walking around kind of walking around with someone else's stuff, like kind of semi-hard.
Autokleptophilia.
I don't know what I don't know.
No, that would be like stealing from yourself. Somehow,
it'd be klepto-autogynephilia, because you're stealing.
Voyeuristic, right? is that where you want people to watch you?
Yeah, it'd be a klepto-voyeuristic autogynephilia.
No, exhibitionist. No, wait. Is it exhibitionist? Because we said voyeur before, and someone claimed like, no, you have it backwards.
Is there a word for there's not a
voyeur would be someone that wants to watch. A voyeur would be someone that wants to be watched.
So it's exhibitionist. He wants to be watched.
Yeah.
So it's exhibitionist, klepto, autogynephilia.
He likes attention.
Yeah.
Dude, when he
And
joined,
it is he, right? We're not misgendering him.
I think that's safe. I mean,
I don't know.
it's a
I don't know either.
A sexual male.
I just
but
don't want someone
identifies as.
I just don't want someone to be able to be like, oh, you
gender.
were misgendering him, and like make the focus the fact that there was a misgendering.
If you focus
know
on
what I mean?
sex, the biology
what
of this
happens.
guy when he was born was male, and
Yeah.
I think he has at some point
All right.
transitioned his gender to cis.
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
Not non-cis. I don't.
Voyeurism is when you get off watching other people.
Yeah.
So exhibitionist is, I think, right?
When he joined the Biden administration, I was kind of like, this is endgame for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I
so-
guess we get people
Yeah.
like this with lipstick, bald guy looking weird, acting all
awesome.
dancing
He's
around
a
and
risk
dragging.
taker
Awesome.
too. He doesn't know what's in those
In the White
suitcases.
House.
He just
It'd
knows
be-
it's
it'd be-
women's clothing.
Then I
It'd
find
be-
out he's a thief.
You know, it'd be a lot funnier if it turns out that like his early life story was that he was like a skydiver and a snowboarder, and he gets off on adrenaline rushes.
Crazier the better, man.
So he just like steals women's clothing.
the more
in
outlandish,
airport.
the more I love it.
And then
the
he's
more.
like, he's wearing the evidence of his felonies, and he's getting an adrenaline rush from people watching him do it.
Dude, he didn't even check
he's a more
bag.
honest politician than the other politicians in Washington,
He
D.C.,
is.
okay?
Good for him.
Oh, he's a bureaucrat, not a politician.
same thing.
Yeah,
Almost
he's
same
worse.
thing,
yeah.
Oh man.
Even still, I mean, I have to give this story 2 thumbs up because I'm enjoying it so much. So I appreciate your service, Sam.
It feels like like I've been praying, and this is kind of what happens when you pray: is that people be.
I'm praying that someone that
people-
works for the government steals women's
Well,
bags
it's
and
just
wears
that
the clothes. That's an interesting prayer you got there.
People reveal who they really are. When you're deep in prayer with God, people start to reveal who they really are. And people like this thief, is now it's apparent that he's a thief.
Yeah.
So that's good.
This is like stealing someone's like he stole bags that were worth thousands of dollars. It's like it's demonic, but in not like the worst way. Like demonic that freaks me out is when
Demonic in the most bourgeois way.
yeah, like you know, demonic. Usually, I'm imagining Epstein stuff, like high level demonic, satanic, evil. This is like mischief.
Yeah.
you know, like,
Except
it's criminal.
stealing the person's luggage. That's freak. There might have been insulin in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It might have been something. And
that's
that
true.
guy didn't even check in with the bag, but walked out with one.
Well, not. I don't think insulin because it has to be refrigerated. but
Probably not
some
insulin, but
medications.
something life-saving, something
Thermos.
you
You
need.
can put it in a thermos.
You know,
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll
Ice or
check
something.
that stuff, but there might be stuff you need that you can't check or that
Yeah.
you can't. Hopefully you'll take it on,
Medication
carry
is
it on
one
with
of
you.
them.
Yeah.
You know, people are sometimes are addicted to like painkillers.
So
What
stealing-
happens if someone had their painkillers inside of one of the luggages?
Stealing a bag from a store, I understand. It's not like you're beating someone's face in, but stealing someone's personal belonging is very different than stealing something from a store, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
evil people, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad he was
That's crazy.
exposed.
Like I said, I'm happy that it happened because I get to imbibe the story and enjoy it, but that's the extent of it.
So he's on leave now from
Fired.
Biden? He got
No
fired.
longer
Okay,
an
good.
employee
That's just
and
you gotta
criminally
vet-
charged.
vet
Yeah.
your employees. What?
Going to prison. Gonna get locked up.
Well, it depends on
Grand
the,
larceny.
the
No,
here's the
district
look.
attorney that he gets.
The crazy thing is, apparently the first time Brenton got caught doing this, he told the cop like, "Oh, I accidentally grabbed the wrong bag and didn't realize it, and then I panicked because people thought I stole it, so I just left it, and then I brought it back to the airport or whatever." And it's like, bro, you're on camera with no bag.
And that was the day he didn't check a bag.
You had
The airport was
no
like,
bag.
He didn't have a bag.
You go to the airport, no bag, and you take someone's bag. We know you stole it.
Yep.
At the very least, like he could get a generic black travel bag, but the dude just not even smart enough to do that.
He got caught twice. Now imagine how many times he wasn't caught. Because how many times will officers or security actually go through the whole footage, actually look at the whole scenario, and actually do a full investigation to find out who stole a luggage bag? I mean, I had a bag once missing, and they were like, "Yeah, screw you, tough luck."
Yep.
So how many times did he get away with it is the larger question.
I want it to be double digits, and I want to hear about every one of them.
I'd be willing to bet the clothing he's wearing all the time is clothing he stole from women.
God, I hope that's true.
Why? I don't know.
Because I think it's a hilarious, crazy story. I just like the fact that it's such
Yeah.
a crazy, chaotic story, like so outlandish. This person gets hired and then just flies around the country stealing people's bags and wears clothing of the opposite sex and
And
is
then
wearing,
does a lot of weird dog stuff too.
I mean,
Oh yeah, the
There's a
dog
lot of dog
mask.
stuff. Yeah,
he
a lot
is-
of dog masks.
I love him. I love him.
Bald dude with lipstick. He looks like Matt Damon too.
I
People
love
keep
him.
saying
Oh,
that.
yeah, he does.
Absolutely, like Matt Damon.
Sorry, Matt. Or congratulations, Matt. I don't know how you want to look at it.
Congratulations.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah, he looks like a bald Matt Damon.
Maybe Matt can play him in the movie.
Oh, there we go.
It'll be the older Brinton. Is that his name? The older Brinton.
It's a biopic about the dude who stole luggage from the airport.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
How did I get here?
Phil's dying.
Get it.
You can't do it.
Get it back.
Can we hire Matt Damon to do this?
Maybe at some point. Did he do an FTX
The
commercial?
Sam Brin-
He did not. He did, didn't he?
I don't know, but
No, he did a crypto commercial.
He did,
Was
wasn't
it?
I don't know.
FTX.
Let's see. Matt Damon crypto commercial.
That was crypto.com.
So
Yeah,
are all those people
crypto.com.
are getting sued, like Larry David for this FTX thing? Larry David are they actually getting sued? Do you guys know if they're
I don't
Tom
know. I
Brady,
think
things like
so, but it's kind of dumb. Like doing a commercial is not the same as like running and committing the fraud. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
Like there's no way these guys knew. It's a crypto exchange.
Yeah, and the exchange outwardly said they were going to do it righteously, and they lied. If the exchange
Right.
had been saying they're going to do it illegally, and then Tom Brady was still doing commercials for him, he'd be implicated, in my opinion.
Well, Tom Brady was an investor. He's probably super angry about that. I mean, just like not only the people that had their money in FTX, but it's also the people that were investors, along the way.
That's why him and Giselle are getting divorced.
Yeah.
She's mad. She's like, I can't believe you, Tom.
No, she was the one who pushed him to do it.
She's the one that
It's a
did it.
bad idea, and then she's like, just do it. It's
She's
money.
like, I'm the one that makes the money in this family here with your stupid football. She makes so much more money than he does.
He was
You
able
know-
to take a low contract because of that, and
Yeah.
help the Patriots have a huge amount of money to spend on players. Nice job.
I got
Tom.
Media Matters is mad at me because I was talking about what story were we talking about? I think it was Elon or something. Yeah, it was the Elon story. I said woke people want companies to keep on bad employees based on their identity.
Yeah, they do.
And the left got mad at me for saying that, but I'm like, but that's a fact statement.
That's true. Media Matters is always mad at someone.
Yeah.
My favorite person that Media Matters is the girl that watches Tucker Carlson. Her whole job is just to watch Tucker Carlson and be a bitch. And I'm like, you're the best. I love her. She's great.
Who is it?
Her name's Kat.
Cat.
Yeah, and she works for Media Matters. Her job is to watch Tucker Carlson and just be a complete.
We should do that. We should just hire someone.
Well, there are people that do that. I mean, there's people that watch like Media Matters stuff, and like Sean, Actual Justice Warrior. He's great. His job is just to crap all over the Young Turks. It's awesome.
We got to do like a Mystery Science Theater thing with MSNBC where we just get like people to watch it and comment on it in real time.
That would be so much fun.
Probably get 3 comedians just to watch, Rachel Maddow specials.
Yeah, Joy Reid.
I wouldn't wish
Joy Reid.
I wouldn't wish
She's
that
embarrassing
horror
all the
on
time.
anyone. Are you kidding me? That's torture.
It'd be hilarious.
Are you? Yeah, seriously. Joy Reid says the most ridiculous shit. It would be friggin' awesome to have 3 silhouettes just sitting there trashing every ridiculous thing that comes out of her mouth.
Joy Reid, huh?
Yeah.
She's great.
She got hacked once.
Oh wait.
You remember that story?
She actually tweeted something and then said it was a hack.
No, she posted a blog that was like opposing gay marriage or something.
Yeah.
And then she's like, they hacked me.
They hacked me. They hacked me. And then you want to be like, who's they, Joy?
Yeah, but who's they though?
What do you mean, Joy?
That's the crazy thing about modern cancel culture stuff is that these people know that the whims of the left rotate randomly.
Yeah.
And so they have to say something today that they have to disagree with tomorrow. So then they just deny it and make up a reason. I didn't really say that. I was hacked.
Like,
Okay.
is it a system that's trying to constantly subvert the system? And if the system changes, it needs to create a different type of subversion. So you're always.
It's the continuous revolution. As soon as something becomes old, as soon as something becomes the norm or part of the status quo, then it becomes counter-revolutionary. And so they have the revolutionaries have to oppose anything that's considered status quo. So it's all about constantly performing the dialectic or constantly pushing the envelope, constantly being a revolutionary.
boring.
That's why when you listen to old videos of like Castro talking or whatever, he's always talking about counter-revolutionaries and the revolution continues. Like the revolution happened, Castro got into power in Cuba, and then you listen to Castro talk for the next 60 or whatever years, however long he was alive. It's the revolution, the revolution, the revolution, the revolution. It's continuous. It's constant. If it stops, if the revolution ends, then it becomes the status quo. It becomes conservative. It becomes the old things and the bad. And that's all the bad stuff according to the revolutionaries.
So staying on the offensive psychologically.
I think that might be accurate. I'm not sure if that's the way they conceive of it. But if you're a revolutionary leftist, then you need to make sure that the revolution is continuous.
Somebody said that Biden's person looks like the daughter from Coneheads.
Biden's person? Oh,
Yeah, the
They look
printed
more
guy.
personable.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw this guy.
Coneheads?
Jane Curtin.
Really?
Oh, okay, all right.
But I don't think they look alike. They just have cone heads.
Bald. Do all have lipstick on?
I'm going to stand on principle and not mock people that are bald. Thank you very much. I am in no position to mock anyone.
Yeah, I want
Well, that's not it though. Is it a cone-shaped head or not? That's the question. And but
it
more
pointy?
importantly, the young woman who, well, actually, I don't think she's young anymore. But the one who played the daughter in the Coneheads doesn't look like that guy.
Who is that?
Not at all.
Yeah, someone just super chatted that. They were like, looks like the daughter from the Coneheads.
I don't know. He does have like a very conical head.
Put
It's
the
not that
picture on
he's bald.
stream side by side.
Part of me wants to make fun of Sam Brinton because I think he looks like funny, kind of like, he wears big bald head, lipstick, wearing women's clothes. Like, not
For me, it's
funny,
the
like funny,
stealing.
not funny, haha,
Yeah,
funny,
it's
strange.
It's the stealing.
yeah,
That's
But then I want to
awesome.
stay focused on the crimes that the Biden administration put someone into there, I believe, because of his sexual identity or his gender identity, and then it turns out it's a thief.
The Biden
in the White House.
administration has made it clear that identity is the most important thing, and he made it clear before he was the president. He made it clear when he said that he was going to pick a person of color woman, a woman of color, to be his running mate. He specifically said that before he picked Kamala Harris. There was no ambiguity to it. It was purely said that he was going to select a woman of color. Identity has been a defining factor throughout the whole Biden administration. Whether or not you approve of that is a different topic, but you can't deny the fact that the Biden administration has made identity a definitive aspect when it comes to hiring.
Yeah,
There's no question about
Karine
it.
Jean-Pierre.
Yeah, she's terrible at her job.
And if they cared about her skin color or her sexuality, like that, what you just need. I mean, I don't know her personally, but she's obviously lying a lot.
She's terrible at her
but
job.
She looks like she's lying a lot of times and doesn't answer a question, repeats herself, goes, And you're like, dude, what can you do at that point? Are you going to be like, yeah, actually, the administration's full of it? You can't. I mean, you're supposed to be the mouthpiece of the dog,
I don't know, man. Listen, Kayleigh McEnany, she went and she did a really, really great job, and Donald Trump did his absolute best to throw that poor woman under the bus every chance he got. If you listen to Kayleigh McEnany, like dodging not just the press, but also dodging stuff that Donald Trump said that she just found out about, that she didn't know about, she was really, really good, and she had to deal with not only a hostile press, but Donald Trump, who was completely and totally unpredictable for a press secretary. You watch the way that she behaved compared to the way that Jean-Pierre does her job, and it is striking the difference in professional preparedness that Kayleigh McEnany had compared to Karine Jean-Pierre.
I get this vibe that the reporters in the room with her are like, I'm so lucky to be here. If I upset the queen, we will be ostracized and banished. And so when Karine gets angry, if you see her face or get contort, like that's her about to be like, you're out of here. If you don't shut up, you're out of here.
I imagine that the DNC, the people that are in the press room in the White House, are mostly Democrats, and they don't want to. I mean, it's all about access. They don't want to upset the access that they have. They don't want to upset the administration, because if the administration is upset with them, then they might get kicked out. They might not get the good beat. They might not get the leads. They might not get the people in the administration calling them saying, hey, I've got a scoop for you, et cetera, et cetera. That's just the way that kind of stuff goes when you're in those positions. Access is everything. And if you upset the president or the administration cuts off your access. And if you don't have access, then you're not valuable to the organization that you're supposed to be the White House, liaison for, or whatever.
We're going to go to Super Chats. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, and become a member over at timcast.com. We're going to have that members-only uncensored show coming up tonight. So if you want to hang out with Phil and the crew for the uncensored, not family-friendly version, go to timcast.com and sign up. Let's read your Super Chats. Smash that like button, by the way. All right. Butters Creamy Goo says, any chance you'll have the Hodge twins on? That would be amazing. Don't forget to bring the goo. Oh. Yes, maybe. I think we're working on some with the Hodge twins. That'd be really great. They're hilarious. So we'll see. Noah Poa says, "Hey Phil, it's been a while. Welcome back. When can we expect some new music? I'm experiencing withdrawal symptoms. LOL."
2023.
Got more?
Right on.
Anything
There you
more?
There's a couple things that Jason has been working on that Jason has put up. I've got a couple parts that I've been messing around with, but we don't have anything in any kind of position to show anyone. There is some business stuff that we are dealing with on the back end that we are trying to sort out that is also affecting release schedules, and that is being handled as fast as we possibly can. But things are moving, and I understand that there are a lot of people that are, anticipating the project because this will be the first record that we do with Jason Richardson, and it's been a long time since we put a record out. So I appreciate people that are being patient. But follow me, Phil That Remains on Twitter. You can follow the band All That Remains, and the updates will be there. Stuff is coming, I promise.
Right on. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, "I remember when Mr. Bokus would interrupt IRL jumping on the table to dip his head in a glass of water. Tim, I really hope he gets back to being healthy." I mean, it was only about a month ago. Not even a month ago. It was like 2 weeks ago. It was when Savannah was here. He was at the door yelling to try and come in. Mm-hmm. So what happened is over the past, I guess, 2 months, we've been noticing him acting a little weird, but nothing alarming. And then in the past couple of weeks, I was like, a couple months ago, I was like, we need to bring him to the vet. We brought him to the vet. And then they were like, yeah, he's okay. Just, blah, blah, blah. And they missed it. I guess because it's chronic kidney disease, and they don't present symptoms until it's getting really, almost too late. And then we saw Mr. Bokus was sleeping. We carried him, into the house to the studio. We put him down, and then he just slumped onto the ground, and his head went straight to the floor in a weird way we never saw before. And I was like, okay. And I picked him up, placed him on the sofa, and then he started like shaking a little bit. So we had him rushed to the ER, and they said that he didn't have much time left. He had like renal failure. And so they gave him, we rushed him from there to a specialist, like a special ER, a bigger one, where they gave him 2 blood transfusions and IV fluids, which dramatically improved his condition. But they said he's in stage 3 kidney failure. Stage 4 is total kidney failure. There's some stuff they can do, a hormone to generate more red blood cells, injections, but even with all the medication, it's maybe a year. There is another option, and it is a cat kidney transplant, where what they do is Phil's looking at me like, what? No, I'm not kidding. They said there's specialist facilities where they'll find a shelter cat with no family, and in exchange for you adopting it, they will do a kidney transplant to your sick cat. So that way, otherwise the other cat gets euthanized. So you save 2 cats in the process. And
that is beautiful, and I love this. And I'm not even a cat fan.
And it's $20,000.
Oh, I hate that part. That part's awful.
Yeah, man. Yup. And it's like hard to find a place that will actually do it. It's probably like a California thing for super rich celebrity types. So, my response is adopting another cat that would otherwise be killed, saving Mr. Bokus sounds like the appropriate thing to do. But with even one kidney, they're not going to live that long, but they'll live. And the other issue is that Mr. Bokus has other problems due to being a gutter cat.
Yeah. Continue. Please.
When you rescue, it comes with health issues.
He's a wild cat. I don't want to interrupt you. I've been crying about this actually. This is.
Yeah. He was born in the streets, and so he has underdeveloped kidneys, which put him at risk for kidney failure.
Yeah.
And then he's also got a heart issue. So they're like, they said they don't even know if they can give him a kidney transplant because he's got a heart problem. So we might be able to get him hormone treatment, IV fluids, regular medicine, and then maybe he could live for another year.
Like a
and he's like 4 years old.
Diet.
But and binders to help clear the urine.
You've been good to him. Like you said once to me that it was he was inside a lot, and we were like, got to keep him in. But you're like, I think it's just best just to let him out and live life out there. Like that's no way to live for a cat. And we live on a farm. I mean, we basically live out in the woods. You got to let that guy eat parasitic rats and whatever the hell he's doing out there. But like, he's a wild man,
So he was indoors all the time, sleeping and just morbidly depressed. And he would, just never move. And we were like, this is terrible. Like, this is not life. Dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. So we let him go outside. We were worried because, like, you know, he's going to get sick or something. When we first found out he got sick, I got a ton of regret, like, you know, if we kept him inside.
Yeah.
But we talked about it, and it's like, no. That's no way to live. To lock someone up because you don't want him to be hurt is ridiculous. But then I'm like, yeah, but he's 4, he's going to die. Then when we found out, actually, it seems to be genetic, and he's got underdeveloped kidneys, that made me feel even better. Like, if we didn't let him out, and what little time he had, we locked him up the whole time, and he never got to go out and experience the joys of life, that would have made me feel worse. So I think back to, you know, when he's outside laying in the grass and just torturing birds. He would catch a bird and then injure it, and then just stare at it. And when it tried to escape, he'd run up and whack it again, and just pure torture small animals. And then I had to put the bird out of its misery, like, yo, like, it's so brutal. And he would yell, angry. So, but we'll see what happens. Right now, he's still in the animal hospital. They said that he has minor improvement from the blood transfusions, antibiotics. He went from like 18% to 24%, whatever that means. But they think he's in stage 3 failure, so he's not going to get better. It's not reversible. We asked them about stem cells. They said they didn't know, but apparently stem cells are an option. They harvest the stem cells from the animal's fat, and then replicate them, and then put them into the bloodstream, which regenerates organs. So I don't know.
I hear good things about stem cells.
Maybe we got to do, and it's not like people think. It's not like we're like taking baby cats. It's they harvest it from the fat cells of the cat itself.
4?
Yeah, he's 4.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
That's young.
So
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, he should be 15, 20 years old, but he's got a genetic. As I said, look, he was a gutter cat.
Yeah.
For 6 months, unknown. Who knows what he was eating, what he was going through. If he was born
Whatever
to
he
incest
could.
or in a runt, maybe he was underfed for the first 6 weeks of his life. You know, it's just tough to tell.
Kidneys weren't growing properly because he wasn't eating proper diet. And then we brought him in, gave him real food. It kicked him up, but he can only get a few
He's
years
so
out of it.
friendly. The night I met him, he just came right up to me. One of those cats.
He's it's kind of sad because I was looking on the website. If you go to the Join Us, become a member at Timcast, he's the center column of our talent roster, and then we got Roberto Jr. on there as well, our rooster. But I'm looking at that photo of him, and I was like, wow, that was like 6 months ago, and he looks so much healthier.
Yeah.
And we didn't even realize now when you look at him how gaunt he had gotten.
Yep.
And I don't know, man.
Yeah,
We'll read more super chats here. We'll read some more super chats. All right. Glacia says, Tim, could you spare some words on Brazil? One of indigenous chieftain protesting elections got arrested, and fighting has broken out in Brasilia. It's unknown if police have used live bullets or not. Wow, man.
So they're still fighting about whether or not Lula and or whether it was Lula or Bolsonaro.
Oh,
yeah. They called it for Lula, I think, right? But
Yeah.
Bolsonaro was contesting it or something.
Well, I knew they called it. I didn't know. Last I had heard, and I only know very, very little superficial information about this, is that Bolsonaro conceded, Lula won, and then the people were kind of like, no.
Demanding the military intervene to deal with it because that's what their military is supposed to do in terms of contested elections or something. I don't know. What I do know is I love Brazil. I have been there several times.
It's awesome.
I actually have a visa to Brazil, which you have to apply to get.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. You've been?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's absolutely awesome. So it's sad to see what's going on there. I hope things get better.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. I've had really, really good times when I went down
Too much fun in Brazil for me.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Copacabana, man. Just sitting on the beach with a coconut.
Sao Paulo was better for me. I liked it way better.
I like
than
Sao
Rio.
Paulo.
Sao Paulo was way better. It
But
was
they're
the
different.
best.
What was better?
Absolutely. The people, the culture, the energy, the vibe. In Rio, you kind of got to look over your back the whole time you're there.
Shout out
in Sao Paulo, you do, but in certain areas, but mostly you're fine.
I liked Copacabana. Shout out to Rafinha Bastos. For those that are familiar with his work, he's a very famous Brazilian comedian. I did an interview with him a few months ago. So he's doing some he's working up in New York a little bit. He's got like a studio, but he's like, I think he's still based in Brazil. I'm not sure what's going on, but I hung out at his comedy club when I went down there the first time. Cool stuff.
I had a nice Brazilian girlfriend as soon as I went down there.
Oh,
It was
yeah?
fun.
All right. Michael Diamond says, I was amazed to see Elon following and responding to Luke today. Congrats.
what was that tweet exactly? Too, you made a good point, and he basically agreed with your point.
Oh, it's nothing. We're just like, best friends now.
I think you were saying the future of humanity, either we're about to awaken as a species or everything's going to fall apart.
Well, it was a point that I made on the show a couple days ago, specifically saying we're either in the worst of times or the best of times. We're either in a mass awakening or we're in a total societal collapse. So we were talking about it a few days ago, and it just kind of reminded me what he was saying, and that's why I kind of responded to him, essentially saying the same thing, but saying it in a different way.
Alpha Freedom Fighter says, "Hey, Tim, I finally got my CCW in New Jersey. Holy, yeah, wow, I can't believe that. Congratulations." Is that because of the Supreme Court ruling, I guess?
Does that mean that he actually threw the one ring into the lava in Mordor?
Yeah,
That's
I
how you
guess.
get it, right?
That's
You have to
the
throw
only
the
way.
one ring into the lava and
That's-
actually destroy it.
You have to travel barefoot for 3 months.
3 months to Mordor.
They're not banning guns.
No.
It's just it takes you 3 months. You got
Yeah.
to travel to the center of Mount Doom.
In Hoboken.
In Hoboken. But I suppose this means that the Supreme Court ruling saying they can't deny it anymore has forced New Jersey to start granting people concealed carry permits.
Thank goodness.
Hey, that's fantastic. All right. 5 Against 8 says, "Come on, Phil. When Luke asks for a war cry, I expect something crispy like the beginning of this calling. LOL, huge All That Remains fan since The Darkened Heart. Great to see you back on IRL. My two worlds colliding."
Cheers.
We could do it at the end of the show.
All right.
And we'll say for the members only. We'll get a,
Well, no. I think.
Ooh.
All right.
We'll
Get the
figure it.
crispy ones.
the crispy one. All right. We'll grab some more super chats. Where are we at? Simulant says, "You guys should get CoffeeZilla in here for a talk. He's doing great work exposing crypto scams and was able to get SBF to pretty much admit fraud." Interesting.
Yeah, CopyZilla is the guy on a call on a Twitter space is the one that he asked Sam directly if they'd commingled funds, and Sam said that they had.
Wow.
Is CoffeeZilla was he the dude that broke the story?
Well,
No, I don't think that was
no.
him.
Okay,
but
so
he's just a
Coffee-
journalist that's
All
gone deep in the last 3 weeks. He went on Lex Friedman about 4 days ago and did a
Okay.
show.
I
with
saw a
Lex.
small clip of the Lex Friedman thing, and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I saw about 40
I
minutes.
haven't heard of him before, but I think it would be great to have a conversation with him because there's a lot of scams and scammers out there. It's crazy.
And speaking of coffee, I have two medium tier announcements. We've got the location for our soon to be cafe. It's going to be epic. There's a multi-story building, cafe first floor, games and skate shop second floor, and then probably recording studio on the top floor.
Nice.
It's going to be super awesome. So we can.
Where's it gonna be?
I can't. I don't want to say just yet.
Roger that.
But West Virginia.
Okay.
And I think we're going to actually we're going to be able to announce the coffee for the coffee shop soon. So we have graphics. I'm really excited for. I'll just say it. I'm just going to say it. I don't know. I might piss people off who are working on it because but I can't keep it in. It's a Rise with Roberto Jr. breakfast blend.
Nice. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, Roberto Jr. is on the bag.
Perfect.
I was like, it's a rooster.
Yeah.
Like you wake up and he's
Wake
like,
up.
here's your coffee.
Yes, I can
Very
guarantee.
cocky of you, Tim.
I'm so excited because I just want to have tons of those bags and like Roberto Jr. on it and a rooster.
That's cool.
Yeah, but the reason we decided to do our own brand of coffee was because we wanted to open a coffee shop. I've been talking about that all year.
Just to mess with the quartering, right?
No. Like I actually talked to him, and
Okay.
we were talking about actually using Coffee Brand Coffee as our supplier.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it may happen in the future, but I don't think it can happen now, just because he's further away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of logistical issues, and the cost associated with it. But we talked about it, and I was like, I don't want to use any other company other than Coffee Brand Coffee because we want to build the parallel economy out. We went over the numbers, and for a variety of reasons, notably like shipping and location, it's like, you guys are East Coast, he's Midwest. It's probably not as easy. And then I was like, let's circle back in like 6 to 12 months and figure out if we can go from there. So we have a supplier East Coast to do distribution for us. But we're only doing a few basic blends, and it's because we're gonna have the coffee shop. So we have like a light, dark, and medium roast. And then we have like my favorite, which is like psychotically dark,
Yeah.
super dark. Awesome. I love it. Yeah. It's
You can
going
always
to
lighten it up, but you can't make it darker.
Yeah. No, I love
It's true.
very, very dark roast. It's like maximum darkness. It's going to be fantastic. Not burned, but very dark roast.
It's a good name.
Just the
Maximum
black.
Darkness.
You should call it the blackest pill or something like that. The
Blackest bill. You know, what we're doing with it is not political, like Rise with Roberto Jr. It's just, we're going to have a coffee shop. The coffee shop's not going to be political. One of the things we're going to do...
Goth roast.
Goth roast, yeah, over
There
the
you
top.
go.
But one of the things I want to do is actually, whenever you purchase something, we're going to figure it out. You get to play a game of craps, quote unquote, street dice, and you get a chance to win a free coffee. So we thought it would be fun to like some kind of game where you can come in and just like when you buy something, you can roll the die, and if 7 or 11 comes up, you get a free coupon for a coffee or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah, something like that. And then you could actually bet on specific numbers. So people who know how to play craps will totally get it. You could be like, I want to put my coupon on yo, and then it's like 15 cups of coffee if you roll 11. And then it's like you put your coupon on aces, and it's like 30 cups of coffee. You get a gift card for that, or $30 gift card or something like that. So
that's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
Well, the whole point of the place is not to like become ultra wealthy of a coffee shop. It's to make a community center where people can hang out and have a good time. So we're setting up in one part of it, Ian's Crystal Cove.
Ooh, let's get a crystal ball in there.
Yes, and what it's going to be is the way the building it's an L-shaped building. So the L portion is going to be curtained off, and when you go in, there's going to be crystals and like lights hanging, and then there'll be like a movie playing, and you can sit down and like read a book with a lamp and have your coffee in a quieter, chill, crystal environment.
You know what's really good is hookahs.
All I can think of is the scene from Mallrats when Jay and Silent Bob went to the Dirt Mall, and they sat down with the psychic woman, and I just imagine Ian in the room, obviously not with a third nipple like clothed, but I just imagine
you don't know that.
I just imagine Ian in there, sitting there with the coffee around him, just kind of vibing out like in Jane Silent or like in Clerks or Mallrats.
Yeah, and we could do hookahs. You guys ever?
Oh yeah.
I guess it's technically not smoking hookah. You're vaping.
I don't know if we would do hookahs.
They go good with coffee.
It's going to be an Ian kind of space with rocks and dye and stuff. And, it's basically a place where it's like if you're in the main area, it's well lit. Then you go through the curtains and it's dimly lit with a movie playing, and it's very, very chill. But then upstairs, you walk up the stairs and there's going to be a skate shop section and like board games, table games, and some skee ball. So it's really just about creating a place that's fun to go and hang out.
Yeah.
Because my whole thing is like when you're done with work and you've taken care of your chores and stuff and you just want to chill, what do you do? And so there's a variety of things people do. And I'm like, you should need like a cool hangout spot. So you'll have a coffee downstairs. It's going to be very, very simple. It's going to be like coffee and cappuccinos, lattes, espressos, nothing super fancy. And then there's food across the street. You can bring your own food or whatever.
Yeah, or we could work out with local restaurants to have delivery on demand where you have a menu and you can pick from like 4 different restaurants.
We're going to have a stage. So we can do comedy and music stuff. But let's read some more.
That's cool.
First Thessalonians says, Elon Musk is a globalist advancing the Great Reset. He was part of the 2008 Young Global Leaders. He is the enemy.
I've heard that a lot of people have been. Actually, Majid Nawaz is extremely concerned about this Elon love right now because for similar reasons. How old is Elon? My guess, 52. Let's find out.
51?
Elon Musk age.
51. What's he got?
Give me your guesses.
51.
Born in 71, so 51.
Is he 51? Oh,
he is 51.
I got it.
Good
there
guess.
you go.
Good job.
You want to come?
Yeah, I did the price of right thing to Ian.
Oh, you undercut me by one.
Or you're supposed to go over by one, I guess.
One
That way if
more.
he's older than it. No, actually, I did the inverse price is right thing. I was probably hurting myself by giving myself no room.
I wasn't aware that he was a young World Economic Forum leader. I'm gonna try to fact check that right now, but I haven't heard of it personally myself, so I don't know if it's true or not.
I think there certainly are a bunch of Musk bros or whatever, people who are just like defending him no matter what. But there's people like that for everybody. Trump's got his people. Bernie's got his people. So I'm not, it is what it is. I think he's doing good things, and I'll take it. I'll take the win.
You celebrate people when they do good things. You criticize them when they do bad things.
Exactly.
But more importantly, you never put anyone above yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't aside from the culture war implications, I don't see what people could be really significantly upset with Elon Musk about, right? Like if you're knee deep in the culture war and you're on the left, I get it. He represents the things that you're opposed to. So that at least I can wrap my head around. But if you're not steeped in the culture war, I don't understand what it is that people find objectionable about Elon Musk. Like if you're not on Twitter and you're not involved in the culture war, other than what you see and hear on the news, what is it about Elon Musk that you could, in the past 6 months, now decide, okay, this guy embodies all of the bad things that I used to place on Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Let's
read this one. We got this from Bronson Holland. Says, happy to see a metalhead on the show again. With that said, from a professional standpoint, how full of soy is heavy metal in your opinion?
It is just like every other thing. There is a or at least it's
Like
just like
split down the middle. Like there's like a woke contingent and a.
Well, I think it's probably like every other thing in entertainment. So it's heavily left leaning because it's entertainment.
It's so weird.
But yeah, I mean, I've had hit pieces done on me by blogs that are straight up communists. The blog has like the sickle and hammer, up and then complains about Donald Trump like right after Trump was elected, and there's other guys in blogs that are like their name they had actual socialist pig and stuff like that. So it's just as heavily influenced by the left in the metal community as any other art would be, whether it be rock or pop or whatever.
Do you find that the metal gets hotter when you eat meat and keep like a heavy meat based diet?
No, I don't ascribe to the idea that personality has much influence on your ability to write heavy stuff. There's this meme of going around that I saw where it's just like, it's this dude that looks like he's from the Revenge of the Nerds, and it says, if your guitar player looks like this, you're about to die in that pit. And it's true, because if your guitar player's got horn rimmed glasses, they're probably like math nerds, and they probably wrote some kind of crazy breakdown, and dudes that look like mountains are gonna smash your face in. Because some dude that looks like, Poindexter wrote some crazy riffs. It's true.
All right.
It really is.
Eric Miller says Mars doesn't have gas stations, so electric cars. Boring Company handles the drilling. He also has robots, which doesn't require oxygen to work. Yep. Everything Musk is doing is all a part of getting us to Mars. I mean, he's talked about it over and over and over again.
It's all about making interstellar human beings. Because the idea that oh, we have to save the planet, because the idea is essentially like, well, for some of them think that the human race should die off. So maybe this is an incomplete thought here, or not well thought out. But the whole idea that like saving the human race, save the planet to save the human race, the best way to save the human race is to make sure the human race isn't limited to the Earth, because eventually the sun is going to turn into a red giant and swallow the Earth.
Although I think you can charge it with hydrogen to keep it the same size, because it's only expanding because it's losing hydrogen. Yeah, it loses fuel, so it expands. But if you can keep fueling it, I think you can preserve it.
If we can find a magnitude of hydrogen and transport it to such a degree that the sun
you absorb
survives.
Saturn's hydrogen and shoot it with an electrolaser into the sun.
The complexity of doing that is probably a similar complexity to being able to survive interstellar space.
Well, the sentiment of what you're saying that that we are vulnerable is true. I think we're more vulnerable to meteor strikes, to meteoroids.
So here's the other thing, Neuralink. If you guys have watched Altered Carbon, have you seen Altered Carbon at all?
No.
So here's what I think Elon might be thinking right now. Based on the technology we have, not what we might achieve, he's trying to build interstellar travel.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible we develop a means of conveyance much, much faster than we have today, and you don't need rocketry. It can be something else. That being said, at our current level of technology, Elon is building Starship. Let's say Starship decides to go to Alpha Centauri or something. I don't even know how long will it take to get there? 1,000 years, something like that?
It's like 13 light years away, so that's, at the speed of, at almost the speed of light, it's 13 years. So
let's humans
1,000 years or something.
Finally make it there and then start colonizing. They will need to use quantum entanglement to communicate between Centauri and Earth in real time, which they could. So, you mentioned earlier, I think you were mentioning technology is not quite there yet but it's there enough to where we've done it. We've messed with entangled, I think, electrons or something.
Mm-hmm. I don't know exactly. Photons probably.
Photons maybe. And so like you energize one and the other one reacts the same way as if they're connected in another dimension. So it's like, it looks far apart to us, but actually in a fourth dimension, it's the same thing. So that means we can have one on the planet in Alpha Centauri or whatever.
Simplification of the theory is like in the fourth dimension, they're actually in the same spot.
Dramatic oversimplification,
Yeah.
I'm probably way wrong about it, but it's like a general idea, like they're attached for some reason. But so what happens is if you can vibrate it in binary, then you can transmit data in real time, not even at the speed of faster than the speed of light, because it's not actually traveling at all. It's just, and then you do data transfer. And then with Neuralink, you can data transfer your mind from planet to planet, like in Altered Carbon. So that may be what they're thinking. Like, how do humans travel to different planets? You don't. You transport your brain. But the only thing is, if you're a religious person, you're not actually going there. You're just cloning you're copying your brain.
I heard Richard Dawkins talking about this, and someone was I've heard you guys talk about whether or not you can upload your brain or upload your consciousness to a computer and stuff. And personally, I don't think that it's possible. I think that I think that your brain is you. Right. Again, I don't think that I don't think that it's possible to create you without your brain. I think that the experience that you have of existence is intrinsic to your brain. So there is no Ian without Ian's brain. So you can't upload Ian to the computer because Ian's brain is always inside Ian. So even if all of the information in your brain was uploaded to the computer, it's not going to be your consciousness because your consciousness exists in the meat in your head.
Do you think that we could extract the brainstem creature from a body, put it in a vat, and then let it still be the person?
That seems possible. Like, I mean, like, whatever the monster from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where the brain was in his stomach or whatever.
Krang.
Oh, yeah.
But Krang. Maybe that's possible, but I just don't think that human beings exist in absence of a brain.
Have you guys watched The Peripheral on Amazon?
I have not.
Is it good?
So, yeah, it's really good. I'm watching it now. But basically, it's also like surrogates or Avatar. Okay. If we can do quantum entanglement communications, high-speed data transfer, then you could put on a headset and then pilot a body on the other planet and go around and do stuff.
You'd be able to see the future because if I know what you know before you throw the ball at me, I see it coming. Or I can anticipate.
Let's read some more. We got this from Zach Darce. He says, Tim, Jordan Peterson should stand his ground and not delete the tweet. Also, Tim, I don't think there's any moral victory in keeping a tweet up, so I deleted to get my account back. Why the flip-flop on principles, Tim? I'm pretty sure that I said there's no point in keeping up the single tweet for Jordan Peterson, and he'd be more effective just communicating with his audience. Abandoning his millions of followers for one single tweet is probably less effective in terms of winning the culture war. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what I said, right? I don't know. Or either way, then, if that wasn't the case... I don't know. My current opinion is if Jordan Peterson gets locked out for a single tweet and he can remove it and gain access to millions of people, why retreat from the battleground? It's been my position on everything like, Tim, why don't you get off YouTube? Because YouTube is central battleground. It's where younger people get their content. It's the most popular social media platform. So why get off the battlefield? Get off when you're forced off, So my view on Twitter was, I'm more effective tweeting about how stupid Twitter is than just keeping up one tweet from 3 months ago that no one remembers anyway.
Yeah, and in those environments, if you keep up the fight, I don't really like that metaphor much, but if you stay on the platform, you may end up finding that you actually end up winning the war. Like Elon bought the platform, so Jordan, if he had stayed on and deleted that tweet, maybe he could just reinstall the tweet now. So you could argue that there was a net loss there by being vacant from the platform for a year.
Ooh, I'll read one more. Descent says... Cock brand coffee, best coffee beanies, Graph Ian dark roast dark rooster. Okay. Graph Ian or Ian's graphene blend for a dark roast is a really smart idea.
I don't want people eating graphene.
It's not really graphene. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. Dude, let's do it. Put like the hexagon.
Right. Yeah. We'll put like hexagonal thing and it'll be Ian's dark roast. We'll have to figure out the right blend. So we'll get some samples and then you should formulate what you think works, and then
dark vanilla blend or some we'll
figure it out.
Yeah,
dark vanilla.
Flavoring coffees. So it's hit or miss.
Avoid flavoring coffees. You found?
Yeah, I'd say what you want to do is you want to just look at like Italian, French, or other dark roasts, then figure out what percentage blend you think works.
We'll have to get some trade fair coffee. Hopefully everything fair trade coffee. So that means that slave labor wasn't involved in producing the coffee beans. That's important to me.
All right, everybody, if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, become a member at timcast.com, hang out with us for the uncensored, not so family-friendly portion of the show, which should be live on the website at about 11 p.m. Go to timcast.com, click join us. When you sign up, you are also supporting Parallel Economy. They handle all of our financial transactions, so you're helping build the actual parallel economy and help us get away from certain companies like PayPal and other censorious financial institutions. You can follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me at Timcast Phil. Do you want to shout anything out?
I am Phil Labonte. I sing for the metal band All That Remains. Follow me on Twitter. It is at Phil That Remains. I'm closing in on 100,000. Give me a follow.
Phil, that was great. Thank you so much for coming on.
Sir.
You were awesome. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/wearechange. YouTube is showing no one my video today. because it's pretty spicy. I talked about artificial intelligence, human harvesting, Elon, really interesting topics. YouTube.com/wearechange. I'm going to be engaging with everyone in the comment section there right now. And check it out. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, Phil. Great to see you again, my man. Love it when you come out here. I'm Ian Crossland. Follow me at iancrossland.net and get through to me on any of my social networks from there. And I will see you later.
It was a great show. Great to meet you, Phil. You can find me everywhere at Kellen PDL. Thanks, guys.
One last thing, too, I wanted to mention, we're also working on cold brew, getting a cold brew blend of our own. The only problem is we have to order 15,000 cans per order. So it's like you got to make a very serious investment if you want to do your own proprietary cold brew cans. And I do, so we just got to figure it out. But I think we can pull it off.
Maybe cardboard. Cans usually have plastic lined with them. But we'll talk about that later.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you all over at timcast.com.
Phil, war cry. One more time.
Yeah!